Welcome to the Midweek Mailbag, your Detroit Lions midweek podcast, where we answer your questions live here on YouTube, live here on Twitch, and of course available on any podcasting platform you prefer: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the rest. My name is Jeremy Reisman. I'm the producer over at Pride of Detroit. We are getting back into the swing of things here. Training camp is exactly 1 week away. Players report, I think rookies report on Saturday, veterans report on Tuesday, which means the first practice is almost always Wednesday, and spoiler, it is Wednesday. So we're going to talk a whole lot about that today on our midweek mailbag, as you guys have a lot of questions about mailbag. But when I say we're going to talk about it, certainly isn't just going to be my voice the entire show. It is going to, I would say probably at least 60, 65, maybe 70% going to be the voice of our co-host of the midweek mailbag. He is the machine. He is the general manager. Oh, I gave you back to general manager. You know, we're still the off season. You can still be the general manager. You can find him at Eric Schlitt on Twitter. It's Eric Schlitt. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, man. We had the PODD last week, so I feel like we're a little bit out of our rhythm of being live, but it's I think the nerves of seeing training camp on the horizon, maybe it's
Maybe.
starting to. We're throwing titles out. We're gonna
Sure.
it's all it's a wild west out here, man.
Listen, summer's over essentially for us. Like
Yeah.
you're into your training camp preview series. We're wrapping up the 90 to 1 rankings over on the website.
hmm
We're ready. I'm ready. Honestly, World Cup's over. Let's talk some Lions football, and that's what we're going to do on this week's show, and really every show. But like I said, a primary focus on training camp. And one of the first things that happens in training camp is pup list, NFI lists. That's already
Oh
starting to
yeah.
roll out for a couple other teams, and I've seen other fan bases panic, which I think maybe we need to do a quick reset here. And Michael K, one of our Pride of Detroit Direct subscribers, nicely leads us into that discussion. Asks, do you expect Kirby Joseph to start on the pup list? I think it would be a great sign if he's active at the start of camp, but I don't expect it. I feel like the longer he's on the list, the worse it is for a healthy Kirby.
So the parameters for pup and NFI, because you're going to hear that as well. The two designations operate the same.
Yep.
It's just a matter of when did the player incur his injury. If they incurred it in the NFL or during an NFL activities, then they would be eligible for pup. If it happens off NFL premises or in college, that would be NFI. Um, and there's some variations to that, but that's the general rule.
Yep.
So a player that's put on PUP or NFI during training camp, they are eligible to come off at any time, right? It sometimes is a matter of they just didn't pass their conditioning test. Sometimes it's they need another week before they're ready to go. There's a variety of reasons why players would end up on. But during the training camp portion, they're eligible to come off at any time. Where when we hit the regular season, if a player is added to the PUP or NFI, then they're required to miss 4 games and part of into the regular season. But we're not to that stage yet. So if we do hear a player like Kirby's put on NFI or PUP, or in Kirby's case it would be PUP, um, that doesn't mean he's missing part of the season. That just means he's not practicing at this time. And the designation says because he got hurt during an NFL activity. And so with Kirby, he didn't really practice in the spring,
Yep.
right? And so there's a chance that he does start on PUP while they're trying to get him acclimated. But my assumption or my guess is based on them wanting to test him and wanting to see where he's at and having the spring to ascertain that and a little bit of rest here. My guess is he will not start on the pup. I think he will come into camp ready to go right off the bat, and they're going to want to start getting his assessment. They can always hold him out of practice if they want,
Yeah.
but to have the opportunity to practice him, I think is something they're going to want. So I'm going to say no pup for Kirby.
I'm leaning pup, but it's truly way up in the air, right? When
Yeah.
when Dan Campbell was asked about this in the spring, he was just basically, we don't know. I don't know. I don't know how things are going to turn out. And the reason why I think he might start on pup is because one of the things Dan Campbell did say there too was we're pushing this as late as possible so that we can be sure that like we don't we don't aggravate it and then he doesn't last the whole season. Like it felt like he was saying we're pushing him the on-field work for him as late as possible so that like when eventually you have to like go through this rigorous practice and go through this rigorous season, like hopefully you don't wear out what's left of that knee too quickly. Now,
right,
like you said, like you could just start him off pup and not have him practice for the first couple weeks, but go ahead.
I was gonna say the advantage of putting him on pup is that you have the opportunity to keep him on pup later.
Right.
You can't not put him on pup and then put him on pup later. So it really comes down to because I agree with you. I think they're going to want to be very deliberate in when they practice him, right? Yep. But if he's on pup, they can't practice him at all. And so there's you don't have that option.
Sure.
And so it really comes down to, do they want the opportunity to keep him on pup for the first 4 weeks or not? My guess is they're going to want to test it. So that's why I think no reason to put him on pup. Just do what you need to do with him.
Yeah. But I guess the other aspect of this for me is just like sometimes just for the first week, they put more players on pup than they need to, right? Like a lot of these guys, like you said, because they didn't pass their conditioning test. Do they have to? I mean, I guess they technically have to put those players on pup because they're not eligible to play, but practice. But it seems like at the beginning of camp, they tend to be a little bit overly cautious because again, like there's no harm in having someone on pup if you're just going to practice them 2 days later. That's fine,
right?
And that's what I think they might do with Kirby. Like let's take a couple days to assess where he's at in the training room. Things like that, and then eventually, when we're comfortable with where he's at there, then we'll throw him out there. But at the same time, Kirby's been around the facility almost all off season.
Right. I think they kind of know where he's at.
Yeah.
And they'll have he may come in with the rookies type of thing. You know what I mean? Just so they can get that done before the practice window actually opens.
Yeah. I mean, there was he posted a video of himself dancing at the Lions facility, like a week ago.
Right. Yeah. He's done a lot of stuff.
Yes.
So,
all right. John Whitaker, our own John Whitaker with the next question. I swear he's not getting preferential treatment. Asks, is there any realistic chance that Luke Altmaier usurps Teddy Bridgewater for QB2? Or is it more discussion of whether Altmaier can justify keeping a QB3?
First of all, John, thanks for reading my training camp preview because I talked about both those questions in that. So I think I'm going to look at it as he's setting me up for this question. Yeah. As opposed to I didn't read it, and so I'm just curious what the questions are. I'll take it as he's setting us up, which is I appreciate that, John. Thanks. Yeah. I don't think there's a chance that Altmaier takes Teddy Bridgewater's QB2 spot. The value that Bridgewater brings goes beyond what he does on the field. It's preparation for Jared Goff. It's, leadership in the locker room. There's a lot of things that Teddy does that are extremely valuable to this coaching staff that it would be hard for me to see him not in that role. So yeah, my question for the, for my training camp preview at quarterback was literally, can Altmaier, justify a QB3? Can he do enough to justify that? And that's, I think, a difficult task for a undrafted quarterback to, justify a QB3 spot or do enough to justify a QB3 spot on a roster that, of a team that has Super Bowl aspirations. Those roster spots are at a premium. So keeping a third quarterback, it's a tall task because where are you going to short another position to keep a quarterback that's, 2 injuries away from seeing the field type of thing. So it's a hard task. But I think that's what's in front of Altmaier is, can I do enough to justify a QB3 spot?
I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here right away because
awesome.
They certainly had Super Bowl aspirations last year, and they had 3 open spots after their cuts. So they can make room if they like. I don't think it would be that difficult for this team to find room for a QB3 if they wanted to. The question for me is whether Altmaier can justify that, and I think he's got a tough road ahead of him. Like, he went undrafted for a reason. I know people are excited about a young new quarterback, and I know like he did okay in the spring. And he's going to have a chance to highlight his talents, and I'm very curious if in a theoretical situation where he balls out in the preseason, just like dominates, puts that on tape for everyone to see, do they get a little afraid that if they cut him? Because I think perfect world, and I still think this is the most likely situation, is they cut him, bring him back on the practice squad and develop him for a year. I think that's what would everyone in that building, maybe except for Altmaier, would want.
Right.
But if he goes out there and balls out and they suddenly get afraid, like, well, if we cut this guy, we might not get a chance at him back. Would they do they have enough of an investment in a long-term backup to warrant a 53-man spot on the roster for him? It's possible. Like, that's been an issue. They drafted Hendon Hooker to most likely be a long-term backup. So like, they do value it, right? There's a sign that they value the backup quarterback position, even if they haven't really gotten it right much of the time. So it's possible. Is it possible that he wins the QB2 job? Seems very unlikely to me. I'm not going to say never, because I've been wrong enough times to never say never. And listen, like, I don't think Teddy's at the I don't think he thinks he's at the peak of his career at this point. I don't think he's untouchable with the way that I've seen him play recently. He didn't play great for the Bucs last year. Didn't look great in the spring. He's up there in age. I know he thinks he found the fountain of youth, or at least in terms of being re-energized after coaching. But he has to go out there and win it too. I just don't know if an undrafted rookie is going to grasp the offense quick enough, is going to build enough chemistry with some of these players quick enough in order for this team to be comfortable to put Luke Altmaier into the lineup. You're an injury away from Jared Goff to do that. I mean, I guess the other option. Now, I was going to say the other option would be to have Teddy as your emergency quarterback, but he can only come into the game if your first two are injured. So that's not even a possibility. Right. So I'll say this. Even if Altmaier were to somehow win the backup job, I don't think they're letting Teddy go.
Oh, right. Yeah.
If that's the case, like,
you're keeping three quarterbacks. It's again, right, him having to justify three quarterbacks on the roster. Right.
And you wouldn't even know for sure who was the backup quarterback unless the situation arose. And again, just think about it. Like, week one, you're willing to let's say Goff gets injured in week one. How in the world can Luke Altmaier justify being the guy you slide in there right away in week one? I mean, he'd have to have the most outstanding training camp for an undrafted rookie quarterback.
Like a perfect game preseason games like Kyle Allen did, right?
But even then, like, was Kyle Allen like that knock your socks off in the preseason?
No. Two of his three games were absolutely perfect quarterback rating in two of the three games, and even then we were like, yeah, he'll probably. I think he will win it. He'll be all right. Like, we weren't like, let's start him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a quick history, just to kind of put a bow on this. In 21, when this coaching regime took over, it was COVID rules, so they had three quarterbacks. In 22, when the COVID rules were gone, they went to two. In 23, they had two for the majority of the season until Hooker ended up being added late because he was cleared. In 24, it was just Goff and Hooker, and then they added Bridgewater late for the playoffs. Just that emergency quarterback type of thing. And then last year was just two again, right? And so, they've really only kept three in very specific situations. We've got a rookie quarterback we just spent a third-round pick on who's coming off an ACL, so we're going to let him practice. We need an emergency quarterback for the playoffs and COVID rules. And that's it. I mean, like, so it would be really unprecedented for them to keep a third for the whole season.
Yeah. All right, next question here comes from Motor City Media on Twitter at Lions for Life DET. Says, what are the most excited? What battles are you most excited for training camp besides the cornerback 2 battle, nickel battle, and guard battle? Could be an overall offensive scheme view or defensive adjustment plus base or something small like how many plays Gibbs gets to line up at wide receiver. So what are you looking for outside of those three obvious camp battles at backup or CB2, nickel, and left guard?
Well, the whole point of the series that I'm writing is I'm telling you like three, four things in each article. That's those are the battles that I'm looking at. So like I have a lot. I've got like, over 30 different battles that have my attention. But the ones that I think are the most intriguing, it always starts in the trenches because that's a lot of the time where games are won. And so for me, it's, you know, how is the offensive line settling in? How does the rookie Blake Miller look? Um, how is the defensive tackle depth? And what are we seeing with the edge spot opposite of Aiden? What's that rotation looking like? Is that production what we're hoping to see? Those are my, that's where a lot of my attention is going to be. It's going to be, yeah, tackle, edge, and then defensive line depth. Those are my like three big ones that I'm interested in. But of course, like Motor City Media said, there's a lot of other ones too.
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, the secondary is maybe the most fascinating on this team. Not
Sure.
just that corner 2 battle, but like, does DJ Reed look like himself? What the hell is going to happen at safety with Kirby, Joseph, and the rest?
Yeah.
Who's going to win those starting jobs if Joseph and Branch aren't your week 1 starters? Them going up against a pretty great trio of wide receivers plus a good tight end plus Jahmyr Gibbs, like that's going to be a really good test for the secondary and how it works together and how the chemistry builds between whoever's out there. Ennis Rakestraw is maybe one of the more fascinating guys to watch this training camp just because they need someone to step up in that position. And I know that was part of the question at CB2, but I'm just kind of looking at the secondary as a whole as the biggest question mark on this entire roster. And it isn't just the corners. It isn't just nickel. It's the entire group. There isn't a single person out there that I don't have a significant question about. And that can be terrifying. That could be good news, like depending on how the next month plays out. But to me, that's something that I'm going to be definitely keeping a very close eye on because I think it can go in so many different directions, positive or negative or neutral, just in terms of which player is out there. That I don't know what to expect. I'm trying to come in with zero expectations because I like I said, I just don't know what direction. Like one I think more interesting camp battles that we've talked about, I think maybe once or twice on here, is the veteran safety role. Do you go with Chuck Clark? Do you go with Avonte Maddox? Do you have room to keep both now, especially with Terrion Arnold? Like if you're just looking at like 10 or 11 DBs, maybe that extra spot allows you to keep both. But does that become redundant? Or, do you keep both now, but then once Brian Branch comes back, do you let one of those guys go? Because I don't know how much either of those guys are going to give you on special teams. And at some point, you're going to need to fill some special teams roles. The Lions are kind of in this weird spot, particularly at safety, where it's like, do we get insurance or do we get special teams roles out of our depth? Because we are so up in the air with our starters, you obviously want to be as deep as possible on defense in case those guys can't go. But at the same time, you can't sacrifice special teams completely. So I think just kind of looking at the math of how they're going to build the 53 out of that secondary is going to be balancing that, because you're dealing with the same thing at corner, right? Do you keep a guy like Nick Whiteside, who has shown some nice things on defense, albeit in a very similar role, or do you go with some of the guys with more special teams upside? Like I don't think Khalil Dorsey is that much on the bubble because I think they think he's arguably their best special teamer, but
Sure.
What can he provide on defense too? When you have a depth problem potentially at corner.
Yeah, I think the special teams aspect is why guys like Dan Jackson and Lauren Strickland, can't be written off, right?
Yep.
Because if you are debating, if you do think Avante, like I like Avante Maddox a lot. And I think Chuck Clark has some possibilities, right? But I also think they're kind of redundant with because they're both, they fill a veteran role. And
Yep.
I don't know if you need two of those. But then Avante has this hybrid skill set, but then so does Chris Nizian, right? And so
Right.
maybe Avante's a little redundant to him as well. And so if you have this redundancy at a couple of spots with Avante, and then he's only giving you 88 snaps on special teams, half of those coming on, extra point attempts, that's where a guy like Dan Jackson could be like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm a 4-phase, 5-phase special teamer. I can do all that stuff, and I'll give you 20 snaps a game on special teams, 25 snaps a game on special teams, and that's more valuable to the team than Avante, being a veteran guy on the bench when you already have a Chuck Clark type of. So like that's where it gets really tricky.
Right.
Is
Especially,
those like that really those depth spots are like they're fascinating. All the
yeah.
battles.
Because I think in an ideal world, and maybe it's just my ideal world, like you just want to build out your defensive depth. You just like you're fine keeping Chuck Clark and Avante Maddox because if one goes down, you have the other, right?
Yeah.
But the reality of the situation is, and I think it's a reality that fans don't like to face sometimes, is like sometimes you have to sacrifice a good defensive player for a better special teamer. And it's I don't know. With the Lions safety situation as up in the air as ever, I don't know how you make those decisions. I don't know how you balance a 15 to 20 snap special teamer versus a very good insurance option that might not give you anything on special teams. Those are the really, really tough decisions that the general managers have to make. And I think the Lions in general have leaned more towards the former and getting themselves a special teamer that they trust. It's just, to me, like the safety situation might be unique this year because of all the uncertainty.
Right. I think the other aspect that is going to be interesting in training camp here is the other Motor City Media mentioned it and we kind of glossed over it, but the whole scheme
Sure.
component
On both
right?
sides, right?
We're gonna yeah, exactly. Totally new ideology from Petsing coming in, a shift in ideology from Shep, and so learning those nuances is always a fun part because you don't get it. You don't get that in the first couple of days, maybe even the first week.
Yeah.
You really don't get to learn those concepts. They start to develop as training camp kind of wears on. And so while it's not like the first thing I'm going to be like, I'm not expecting to learn that like on day one. Like on some of these battles, you're gonna kind of you can tell who's where on day one, like if they separate themselves. But the scheme component, how those things develop, is going to be interesting because if we don't start seeing like noticeable differences and stuff like that after a week, that could be concerning as well, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Because that was kind of the thing last year with Morton. It was like, all right, we're not seeing any new wrinkles. Maybe deep balls are a little bit more prevalent, but we didn't see that, and that should have been a good warning sign for us.
I think a lot of people were expecting some of those revelations in the spring. Like, okay, you saw Drew Petzing. Like, what does the Drew Petzing offense look like now? And you have to remind people, one, that we saw a total of, I think, 5 practices, 3 OTAs and 2 mini camps. 2, in terms of those practices, we probably got 4 team drills, like 11 on 11s during the entire time.
That was purposeful,
right? They basically showed us nothing, and so it's hard to like call out tendencies when you're only getting listen, you can get a little bit through walkthroughs if you're just kind of looking at personnel and formations and things like that. But even then, like building a tendency is hard. Finding a tendency is hard.
With their attitude too this year. Right. We're no nonsense. We don't want to show you anything. Like I think they're going to keep more uncovered as long as they can until they can't anymore.
I was going to say,
right?
It's hard it's hard to hide anything in training camp because we are there once you get 100% of the practices.
Right. And once the fans get in, then it's like, okay, we just have to kind of open things up a little bit. But yeah, I fully expect the first like 3 days to be like, us just be focusing on players as opposed to scheme.
It'll probably look a lot like minicamp and OTAs, to be quite honest.
Oh yeah.
All right. The next questions, I'm going to pack these two together from two Pride of Detroit Direct subscribers talking about joint practices and preseason. Obviously, no joint practices this year, and we've been hinted that some of the preseason strategy might change this year. So James S. asks, with there being no more joint practices, what are some things you're looking to see in preseason games to help judge how well the team may perform this season? And Dave Q. asks, looking at the past three openers, Kansas City, Rams, and Packers, the offense was subpar to say the least, even though the Lions went 2-1 against great defenses in those games. Do you think the offensive starters playing in the preseason will help the operation look smoother, or will it matter?
Yeah, without joint practices, I do think that it will matter if they play in the preseason games, right? I do think it will matter.
The question is whether it will matter more than the work that they got in for joint practices.
Right. And I'm not sure that we're going to know that answer.
Of course we can't. We can't. Season. By the end of the season,
right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, like it's going to be I think a question that's answered upon reflection. Right. And we're going to be able to like look back and say, yes, this was a smart decision, or maybe no, they didn't learn anything different, or we can guess. It's just, I think it's going to be a hard question to answer. It's a fascinating question that I will want to know the answer to. It just might be the bye week before you have a good answer. You know what I mean?
I don't think you're ever going to have a good answer if I'm going to be quite honest. Like, I think
there's so many variables.
Yes, that happened in the season that you can't be like, well, this is the reason the Lions are better. This is the reason why they're off to a faster start or a slower start. Right. I think if you look at those three openers and you say Kansas City, Rams, Packers, and then they come out this week and blow the doors off the Saints, I think one very easy explanation could be the Saints.
It's the Saints are as good.
Yeah. So it's maybe you delay that a week and say, okay, well, how did they look against the Bills the following week in Buffalo? But that's also like a really tough.
That's a hard. It's their hardest game of the year, probably. Yeah. Like arguably, that could be their hardest game of the whole season.
The thing I always go back to, especially with these early games too, is just like all the teams are not great. All the teams are going to go through a lot of troubles. You hope that like the missed assignment stuff looks a little cleaner this year than it did last year, particularly on the offensive line. But September football is ugly. It just is. It's going to be ugly again this year.
So what are we looking forward to in the preseason? Because that was James's question. Like, what are we keeping our eyes on during those preseason games? I mean, a lot of it for me is just going to be order. When these players see the field, because that will be the true sign of what their kind of depth chart looks like. In a lot of ways during practices, they can fool us with, they might put a guy that's normally with the first unit with the second unit because he's dealing with an injury.
Sure.
And, we may think, oh, he's not as high on the depth chart, but then when the time comes on the field, all of a sudden, look, he's out with that first unit again. And so I think depth chart will be something that is more clearly identified. Chemistry, like you said, amongst the offense, especially the offensive line, will be an important component. And then a lot of my focus during those preseason games is going to be on the last 10 spots on the roster and the guys battling to earn those spots, because I really think we know probably the first 40 guys are who they are and how they're locked in. Sure. So who are those last 10, 12, 13 guys?
Yeah, all that's true, but all that's kind of true of every preseason, right? This is, I think, the question here is more like, okay, if they change their strategy and they play some starters, what sort of signifiers are we looking for during this preseason presumably in the first and second quarter, to get a better sense of where this team is at? And
I don't think we're going to be able to be honest.
Probably not, but I think some of it is what you said, like the offensive line chemistry is first and foremost, right? Sure. I because as I've mentioned a couple times, I think there's going to be so much pressure on the defensive line to carry the entire defense. Their ability to plug the middle of the field in the run game, their ability to create pressure is huge. The problem though is all of that evaluation only works if they're going up against starters. And we don't know We don't we have a pretty good idea that the Lions are going to play their starters, but we don't know if
the other teams will.
If the other teams aren't, then there's nothing from an evaluation standpoint that is going to give us information on how this team is going to look in 2026. Nothing.
Yeah, and the scheme's going to be vanilla too, because they're not going to want to give much away, and so while they want to win the game, it's mostly just going to be, can you execute our base installs plays? Right. That's it. They're not prepping for whoever they're playing. I don't even know who they're playing. I know the game at Ford Field is Washington. Okay. So Bengals, Washington, Colts. But they're not prepping for Washington. And they're just going to come in. They're going to run their plays that they want to run.
And even some of the offensive line chemistry stuff that we're hoping to see, it's not like they're going to be facing exotic, sim pressures and things like that from the opposing defense either.
If anything, my focus is just going to be more on the run execution, right?
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. So, kind of a mixed bag in terms of what we can actually glean from the preseason. A lot does depend on the opponent, but in general, I think it's more individually based evaluation in general. I mean, that's what it is for the team, right? That's kind of the entire purpose of those preseason games. Although, again, there is at least going to be a minor shift to, hey, let's build some chemistry with that offense. Let's make sure the standard operating procedure with everyone in the building is ready once we get to actual game day in week 1. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, more training camp preview via questions submitted online via Twitter or via our Pride of Detroit Direct email. If you're a subscriber, again, you can always become a subscriber by going to prideofdetroit.com/subscribe. More questions on the other side when we come back on the Midweek Mailbag. We'll be right back. All right. We are on break, which means we can take some of your guys' questions. I got some alerts to get through. Also take, if there's anybody watching over on the feed over on Pride of Detroit, every now and then I like to throw the feed over there. Got a couple recs over there, but if there's anyone over there on the website, prideofdetroit.com, over on the feed column, happy to take some questions from you guys over there as well. Twitch and YouTube, I got both your chats up as well, so let me get into some alerts, and then we'll jump into some of your questions. Monty Tuhati, thank you for the 57 months. Says it's my Tate Ratledge draft slot anniversary. That's a deep cut. Is that because there is no 57 on the team? Anthony Pittman?
Oh, was he 57?
I think at one point he was 57. I don't think he is.
Yeah, he was
at this point. I don't know. Thanks, David. Appreciate it, man.
But maybe it was their last. That was their last championship, right?
That is true. That's a depressing anniversary, though. Oh, it's Jay Tufele. Your Jay Tufele versary. Oh, Anthony Pittman's not on the team anymore, right?
No, not anymore.
I forgot. I get him and Nowoski mixed up in my head every now and then.
Oh boy,
he was 57, so I got that at least.
Yeah, at one point.
He only does it with anybody. Oh,
I don't. Yeah,
good old Pittman. I like Pittman. He's a very nice person. So, shout out Anthony Pittman. Monkey 40 months said my Jared Davis anniversary. Let's see if I still have. Just trying to see if I could see my Jared Davis jersey up in my closet over there. Pirate Dog 44 months says this is a year. Hold on to your butts. I want it to be, man. We have another 40 months anniversary from Thomas J. Hutchins, who says it's my Zach Horton anniversary. Lions legend. I was really convinced. I wasn't really convinced, but he was like my dark horse candidate last year because of some of the fullback stuff he was doing in camp.
Sure. And then when he got elevated for that one game for Thanksgiving, and I was like, they're gonna play him at fullback. You were like, nah.
Well, I felt like they had given up the fullback position.
Yeah, well, they felt like they needed it. I guess
so.
All 3 snaps or whatever he gave you.
Drew Falcon 42. We got a lot of linebacker anniversaries here. Drew Falcon 42 months, the JRM anniversary. Silver Rush 38 months subscribed to us on Twitch. Appreciate you. Lamans Builder 37 months says 37 months cancer free. Hooray. Guys, please get a PSA blood test. It may just save your life. Lamans, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah. 100%.
Kind of odd that it coincides with your monthly subscriptions here, but
That had to have happened on purpose, right? Like, it had to.
Are we the cure? Is that what you're saying?
No. I wouldn't be so presumptuous, but yeah, probably.
Well, Lamont, definitely do appreciate you being there. Keep fighting that fight. That's incredible. Orna, thank you for the 18 months. Says, wow, subscribing via Amazon Prime is both easy and a free way to support the channel. Hey,
nice.
That's very true. Even if you're over there on YouTube, you can jump over on Twitch. You don't have to stay here. That's fine. Create a quick account. Probably takes about 5 minutes. Connect an Amazon Prime account if you have access to an Amazon Prime account. Doesn't even have to be yours. If your mother's, steal your mother's. Who cares?
Yeah. No,
she's not on Twitch. She's not using her Twitch Prime. And then you just hit the little purple subscribe button. You click the little use your Prime gaming sub, and you support us for free. It doesn't cost you a second. It doesn't cost you a cent. It costs you a couple seconds.
It only takes a couple seconds. Yeah,
that's right. And Kylo Den, thank you for the 23 months subscribed on Twitch. Says Lions training camp once again, the hottest tickets in the Midwest. FTP, FTB. Yeah, I debated even writing an article about what seems like a pretty big snafu with the ticket system.
Oh, well, that's Ticketmaster, right?
It is. And I wasn't going to frame it like it's all the Lions' fault, but, you know, they could certainly come up with a better system, I think. I'm frustrated. I'm getting like secondhand frustration. Obviously,
sure.
I don't need tickets, but when back in the day when I was trying to get tickets, like I see this every year. I think training camp is one of the best fan experiences you can experience because you get to see something that we don't even get to see during the regular season, full practices, because you get to be up close in the players. You have a pretty good chance at an autograph because they have so many things for the kids and food, and you get to be surrounded by Lions fans, and it's all for free. It's an awesome experience. I recommend it to everybody, and I just wish there was a better way to distribute tickets, because if you tried yesterday, even if you're there at 10 o'clock on the dot, you're running into site errors, you're running into 10,000s of people in line before you, and I heard a ton of horror stories of like, it was my turn, I clicked 2 tickets, I hit submit, and said like, you don't have access to this page, and you got an error, and then they got sent to the back of the line and they never got tickets again. I don't have solutions, which makes me the worst kind of complainer, but I wish there was something better for you guys, because as I'm hearing a lot of too, is like, this sucks because like I'm priced out of games now. I can't go to games. I can't go to Germany. Yeah. I can't go see this team anywhere. This is my one opportunity to see the team and be excited and show my support. And it's become so hard to do. It's frustrating. And I feel that frustration.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton they can do to increase their totals either, like their space, right?
Yep.
Like they're kind of boxed in because they are located in like an industrial complex and right up against a street.
Yep.
And so they can't and they've looked into moving facilities, and that hasn't generated anything,
Right. Seems like Rod Wood was like, there was one off season where he's like, we want to get a bigger, like, I think it was right after they went to Indianapolis, because those grounds are incredible. Like, they're huge. They could fit probably 5 to 10 times more what the Lions get. And I don't think they have to worry about selling out just because there's so much room.
They'd have to try and like purchase like one of the industrial buildings to their, what is it, north or east or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And like try and redo like how things are positioned. And I don't, it's just not conducive, unfortunately.
It felt like after that, that Rodwood was like hell bent on finding a new place. Let's go find a new place. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. And then he must not have liked what he found, because then they got sponsored by Meyer and they're like, we're going to stay here.
Right.
And so if you can't make the grounds bigger, I don't know what the solution is. I mean, let's be honest too. Like it's kind of frustrating that the Lions have 20 training camp practices that we get to attend. 5 of those are open to the general public.
Right. And then 5 are to like season ticket holders or friends and family or one of their sponsored events. Yeah.
And I get wanting to make things special for season ticket holders, and I hear a lot of varied feedback on that too. Some believe they're not getting good enough treatment as season ticket holders. Some think the perks are awesome. I do like that they've generally tried to change year to year some of the things you can get. Like, I don't know, it sounded pretty cool last year that some people got to sit in on like a football lesson from Chris Spielman. Like, that's pretty freaking cool.
Oh yeah, they've had some of those you get like there's like 10 options that they offer you and you get to pick like one of them, I think, or something like that.
Phoenix is right. I think one of the better solutions is at least bringing back the family day at Ford Field. And I'll have to ask around to see why they haven't done that this year.
It's always scheduled, right?
It's scheduling conflicts.
Yeah, because they rent out Ford Field for concerts, and they always like don't align. It feels like.
Look at their.
I think part of the conflict this year as well is the NFL started a week late.
Sure.
Like they're still going to be doing training camp when the kids are back at school. You know what I mean? Like the last few practices before the third preseason game. Like the third preseason game is a week after everyone is back to school in Michigan.
Right.
And so like that just makes everything more complicated as well. And so I don't know, there's a couple of days in there where it's like, man, it sure would have made sense to have that be an open practice or that one be an open practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got a couple weekend practices that they could have. I thought they might open.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Like, right, I feel like all the ones open to the public are weekdays, so that makes it even harder for families to try to manage that. Yeah,
and then they have a couple open, and then one closed, and then a couple open, and like it's I don't know. It's I'm sure. Look, there's logic behind everything. I'm sure, and we're not privy to that. It's just I'm sure it's frustrating for fans when you don't get to see the whole picture.
No doubt. I'm looking at Ford Field's schedule. There's 3 things between now and the regular season. There's the Foo Fighters on August 6th, Chris Stapleton August 8th, and then Ed Sheeran on August 29th. So there is like a 3-week gap between Stapleton and Sheeran where it's just like I guess there's a preseason game somewhere in there too, wherever their one preseason home game is.
The 22nd.
But
like. Yeah.
I mean, you have to get the field prepared for that. Why not? I mean, I don't know.
The trick is also you want to be able to hold a scrimmage for the fans.
Yep.
And that has to align with your practices as well.
Right.
Like
practice schedule. Yeah.
If you're going to do it on like a Saturday, let's say you wanted to do it on Saturday the 16th, which is when they just have a regular practice.
Sure.
Well, that's the first practice following the Bengals game. Like, they're not going to suit up and do a full scrimmage 2 days after a game, and they're not going to do it on that Sunday either. And so, like, it's the timing isn't great. Like, the anticipated, like, practice this year or scrimmage this year is going to be that kind of evening game or practice that they have for fans, which is, like, Monday the 17th. Would that be a good day to have Ford Field up? It's always like
it's more complicated than it looks, but but you can make it work. There's no doubt in my mind they could have made at least one practice at Ford Field work.
Like the 9th probably would have been ideal.
Well, but that's literally the day after the Chris Stapleton concert.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I was doing it, setting that up, that's where I would have been targeting. You're still 6 days away from the Bengals game. You've already got 10 days plus worth of practice in that, and maybe the Stapleton thing is what killed it. You know what I mean?
Well, figure it out when you're scheduling the concert at Ford Field then. Right? Like make room for the Lions. They're what's
It's
making you all the money, Ford Field.
it's interesting because I was just having this conversation with my wife about how um, we have conversation with other parents in the
Sure.
neighborhood, and when we try and blend our schedules together for I don't know play dates or barbecues or whatever, there's a set of parents who schedule their kids' activities and then schedule the adult activities after the kids' activities are scheduled.
Right.
And then there's another set of parents who schedule their activities
And then the
and
kids
then the
are on it.
kids, right, right. And so it's almost like
Yeah.
that's what's happening here
Right.
is Ford Field is like, we're just going to do what we want.
Yeah.
And then the Lions are like, but come on, like,
Are,
you know,
wait, are the Lions the adults or the children in this scenario?
that's a great question. You look at it a lot of different ways, but
Yeah.
but it's an interesting like when you have two entities and you're trying to blend schedules,
Right.
and they each want to prioritize different things. You know,
It's just you can schedule concerts year round pretty much in Ford Field, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't have a ton going on during the football season, but like they'll slip in a Metallica concert here and there. It seems like you can realistically work around the Lions preseason schedule when they just want one day. One day in a preseason game.
I think, yeah, if you had enough, if they planned ahead of time, they could certainly make it work. But the NFL doesn't operate like that. Like the NFL, like
Yeah.
you, they will change their schedule. There's a reason
Sort
why
of.
every time we get a schedule, it says
Subject to
this is
change.
subject to change because press conferences get changed.
True.
We've seen practices get altered by a half hour. I mean, like it's
But-
not uncommon.
But the NFL like offers their schedule pretty far in advance, right? We already know that free
NFL
agency is
does.
going to start a day after the NFL Combine next year. And so you have a good idea of like what your preseason schedule is going to look like. You don't know the exact dates, but you have a general outline. That's all I'm saying. It's like you have a general outline. You should be able to set aside, okay, this is the range in which we are going to have our one Ford Field event. Please set aside this range of 5 days. I guess the question is like, and I don't like, first of all, I'll also be like completely transparent here. I don't know how individually Ford Field operates from the Lions. You know, they both have Ford right there. There's a partnership, obviously, but they are separate entities. You do have to wonder, like, is it financially worth it to them for Ford Field? Like, obviously, you're going to sell concessions,
But that's
things
it.
but that's it.
Like
Yeah,
the tickets are
they're
free.
Yep.
And you gotta and like you're probably covering the employees to run the concessions and the
labor.
and the lights
Yep.
and and the security and the ushers and like
Yeah.
they're probably not making anything off of it.
Not much, at
Whereas
least.
yeah, a Stapleton concert you're gonna earn like
They'll get parking too.
maybe double that, right?
Yeah. I'm sure the events, the concerts are way more. I mean, they
Yeah,
just-
I know. I was just
Yeah.
being sarcastic.
Yeah. All right. We'll move from there. Although Cam James Kirk has a question about turf versus field, and we'll get into that in a second. Coffee Server, thank you for the 8 months subscribed on Twitch. Appreciate that, using that Twitch Prime. And Captain James Kirk with the 50 bit says, what are your thoughts on the grass versus turf conversation happening right now? I know that the team recently installed turf in Ford Field, but I feel like it would be nice for the team to be leading from the front here.
Yeah, we've talked about the logistical problems with trying to run grass at Ford Field, and is essentially that they don't have an area to grow it outside of the building or even inside the building. Because of the roof is domed, you're not getting any natural light. If you want to move the field out of the building to grow it, you don't really have a location because you're surrounded by, the metropolis.
Right.
And so they can't store it in like the basement area because they can't really go down. Um, that would be logistically, I think, challenging. I mean, I'm not an engineer, so I don't know if they can do that, but it seems like it
Right.
would be awfully pricey. And so getting grass into Ford Field that can be grass would require like also changing the roof at Ford Field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like it just seems logistically like a really terrible problematic task.
Yeah, I have no idea how the logistics would work. That doesn't mean it's not possible. Um, and
Have you
obviously
seen
the
I'm
optics
gonna look
the
up the
optics of the
stadium.
World Cup is tough, right? Where they just did it in 9 stadiums that don't have grass. Or that don't yeah. They just did it in 9 stadiums that don't have grass.
That all have like roofs, retractable roofs, or just open
Do all of them?
concepts.
I,
I
I,
thought they
I
all
honestly
did.
don't know. Um, maybe they do, maybe
I
they don't.
mean, or they have I have to
The
I'm gonna
the one thing that I'm with fans on is like I don't want to hear that it's too pricey. That to me is not good enough excuse. If you want to say logistically it's a nightmare, it's too hard to do, we're constantly moving turf in and out and that's making the turf conditions even worse, like that's fine. But if you want to say it costs too much, shut up. You're the most valuable sports league in America. You're making millions upon billions upon, like, each team is valued in the billions. I don't want to hear that it's too expensive.
have you seen the Real Madrid stadium?
Mm-mm.
I'm pretty sure I've sent you the video
Or
before.
maybe you have.
It's essentially um there they have a they store the field directly underneath the field.
Mm.
They have like an elevator system
Yeah,
that lowers like huge sections of the field down, and then they have like they store it in different areas, and then they have like grow lights and all that stuff to
sure.
maintain it, and then it basically just like it gets lowered down into these little like storage areas like it's a Home Depot or something like that with all the like those shelves, and they store them at different levels, and then they then unload it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like $1 billion like to do, but like it's unbelievable. Like, and when I was looking at this like question of how could the Lions do it, like it would be that type of thing. Like they'd have to be able to like invest a lunatic amount of money
Yeah.
into a stadium, literally, or they can just be like, hey, we'll just put field turf in.
Right. And that's why it's not happening, right?
Right, right,
And
right.
that's
And
why
this
I
is the
think
same.
fans and more importantly players are pissed. Like
Oh yeah,
they don't want to hear that it's too expensive. And I'm with them. I don't want to hear it either.
and it
Like if
is
these other
though.
I understand like these soccer franchises are often and maybe mostly worth more than NFL franchises, which is hard for some people to even get their head around that a soccer franchise might be worth more than an NFL franchise, but it's absolutely the truth with a lot of these teams. But I don't know. Just to hearing a Ford be like, "I'm sorry, it's too expensive," is excuse me. I'm paying what for groceries? I'm living paycheck to paycheck, and you're saying it's too expensive. Um, yeah.
Now,
So
to be fair, I think the whole stadium is like $1 billion. So like it may not be $1 billion to like,
right, just the grass part.
install this portion, but still it kind
Yeah.
of would be, dude, it's crazy. Like it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Look it up. Look it up.
What team is it again?
Real Madrid's um Real Madrid's stadium. It's what's the stadium's actual name? Oh, good. My kids are awake. Can you hear her screaming through the house?
I'll throw the link in chat. I don't want to play it just in case it's copyrighted material, but there's a little YouTube short on
There's
what
a
is
longer one too. There's like a 4-minute video that goes into more detail.
That is crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
They have like a sprinkler system and like grow lights that just basically they're housing at each level of the field.
Yeah. It's crazy. All right. All through alerts, which means I can start answering some questions. I'll look everywhere I can find them. None over on Pride of Detroit. Monkey asks, do you think because Branch is more of an instinctual and intelligent player than a physical freak that he might get back to quote unquote normal from his injury sooner rather than later?
I think it certainly helps.
Yeah.
His anticipation is one of the things that makes him great, right? So,
my only pushback there is that anticipation involves sudden change in direction.
Sure. And that's the hiccup, right?
Yep. And so you might lose some of the mental benefits you might lose because of the physical drawbacks of the injury.
But I'm glad that he's smart and may have some physical, obstacles as opposed to being dumb and having physical obstacles.
Sure. If those are your two options.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if the physical obstacles are there as it is, being smart certainly is going to be an advantage.
Sorry. I also read a comment here from Fartman that I think is funny, even if it's mildly insulting.
Uh-oh.
It says, how pessimistic is Joe Kania on this upcoming season? Because I trust him more than any of you. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. If you don't know, Joe Kania is Eric's co-host. Do you call him the host or the co-host?
I think technically he's the co-host, but we're both co-hosts, but
yeah,
he takes point on the show.
Yeah, of Eric's not solo, but side piece. Yeah. Independent. That's probably a better way to put it. Detroit Lions podcast, which is the Detroit Lions Breakdown podcast, which I do recommend. I haven't listened to it in a while. Have you guys recorded an episode in a while?
No.
Okay.
We took time off for like some family stuff. I had some big schedule changes. He had some things he was working with as well, and so we took our time. We'll be back soon because this is training camp is upon us.
So the answer to the question is you don't know how Joe's feeling about the season?
No, it's funny because we'll talk in general terms, but we tend to save a lot of our thoughts like for the show so that we are it's so more
reactions are genuine.
Correct. Yeah. We don't want to have too much we don't want to plan too much out because that's not, like we don't even have an intro music, right? Like that's how unplanned out we are. So
who cares? No one listens to podcasts for the theme songs, do they?
I don't know. I think this podcast has a good theme song.
I'm not digging our own theme song. I like it.
Yeah.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I like a lot of the podcasts I listen to theme songs. Maybe that is important.
All right. Let me go check out my kids here because I feel like, and then I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. I'll throw some more questions out here. Captain James Kirk says, admittedly a Cope question. Is there an advantage to the Lions being so coy about Kirby's injury and maybe he will be back for week 1? I mean, I think it's certainly possible that Kirby is the starting safety at week 1. I'm not sure what the advantage. You're saying the advantage would be it would catch the Saints off guard, because I don't think they're necessarily playing those sort of games. I think it would be like they wouldn't throw Kirby out there without any practices. I don't think they would be like, okay, let's hold him out for all of training camp and then boom, like week 1 we throw him out there for the week of practices and he's ready. With the way this team operates, they don't like to throw anyone out there who hasn't had at least, like 2 weeks of practices or a ramp up period of sorts. So if Kirby is on his way and practicing and, starting practice and finishing practice with the ones, isn't just doing walkthroughs, isn't just doing, some individual drills, he's going to be out there and it won't be a secret. No updates on the Lions rivalry uniforms. There's a couple like big updates that we're kind of still waiting for. One is the rivalry uniforms. One is the team president that apparently is supposed to be hired by the start of the season, which is less than 50 days away at this point. Maybe we'll get some of those answers early in training camp. Maybe we won't. I still think like a Gibbs contract needs to be around the corner. I know there's a growing debate and there's the rumors out there that he might hold in. I'm not addressing any of those rumors until it's an actual story. Because I don't know. I have no reason to believe any of those things are true yet. Not saying they won't be, but do you think they'll treat Kirby like Frank during the season, rest and then play? Certainly an option. It's definitely on the table. I think they don't know the answer to that question right now. I think they'd prefer not to, but if that's what it requires to keep Kirby healthy-ish for Sundays and on the shelf or available to play into December and January, then that's what they'll do. But I'm guessing they don't know. They need to see how his knee reacts to practices before they develop a full game plan for him. Yes, Kirby has danced in some videos recently. I don't think that says anything about his health. Maybe about his mental health, but I think people trying to like overanalyze how he physically looks based on him just going no, that's not, that doesn't tell you how he's changing direction. The amount of physicality involved in his dancing compared to the amount of physicality, the change in directions, the explosion, the speed of actually playing football, they're so different that I don't think it tells us anything. Like maybe you can look at his leg and say, well, it looks like there's more strength in it. It looks like the legs are of comparable size and he's protected that knee by building strength in his thighs and his calves. Like maybe you can do that, but I think we're getting a little too Zapruder filmy when it comes to that sort of stuff. Question for the mailbag. Could Eric's new side piece be POD because he's the new team president? Is he hiding that from me? Is that what he's doing? He's signing papers right now to become the new team president? That's why he's not here? What's taking him so long? I know you have been on this for a while, but this is almost certain, definitely Kirby's last year now. It's just my feeling right now. But again, I don't know. I don't know how his knee's going to react. I don't know if it's going to be like, this is something I feel like I can manage for years to come. Like, great. Do it. And if he's still playing well, great. Do it. But if there's any question or any step back or any sort of complications that arise this season, like, I think you have to get out from that contract as soon as you can, with all of the option bonuses that kick in that become guaranteed money as soon as they do. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say until we see how his knee reacts to full practices, to full games, because we saw how it reacted last year and it was rough. It was terrible. But they've done a lot, right? Done acupuncture. I mean, Dan Campbell said like they've exhausted everything they possibly could do to get Kirby's knee as protected as possible. And so I'm not going to sit here and commit for sure that he's, good joke. I'm not going to sit here and say for sure that he's done after this year, but I think he would have to have a very clean season, both medically and in terms of his play on the field, in order for the Lions to want to keep him around and exercise the whatever 14, 15, $16 million option that's right there next season. Stretch out your hand a little bit.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Oh, yes, there was.
How much are the Lions staff involved in the kind of experimental treatment some players get, such as when DJ Reed went and he had the stem cell thing this offseason? I would say minimally. Like a lot of that stuff is up to the player like they'll offer recommendations, and recommendations in terms of like surgeons that they like or rehab places that they like. They'll always welcome people to do the rehab at the facility. But, some of those experimental treatment stuff, like that is the player deciding to do that. I think I'm trying to remember who was it. Fred Warner, I think, that gave DJ Reed the idea of
I don't
that.
remember.
I think it was Fred Warner. And so that's completely on their own, right? That's
Yeah, they there's a reason why like when they get independent, like they just are like, hey, we're going to give you a couple options, and then that one didn't align. Let's get a second opinion, and that didn't
Right.
line up with what our doctors thought, and so, yeah, there's still some independence on the players' part on what they want to do, but the Lions also like are they will also do some of that more unusual stuff in house as well. Like Decker was getting like the cryogenic stuff for his shoulder
Sure.
and stuff like that was,
Like-
that's they're involved in that in
Sure.
some capacity, right? Like so.
I mean, even stuff
It's-
like acupuncture and like the cups thing, like that.
Yeah,
stuff
they all get the cups. It feels like nowadays, man.
But I don't think the science is 100% clear on the legitimacy of some of that stuff. But they do it anyways.
Yeah, a lot of the linemen get the cups, from what you can very obviously see in the locker
Yeah.
room.
Right.
Yeah, the medical stuff is so hidden. There's HIPAA stuff, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like that
Yeah.
goes into it as well. And so like we don't get a ton of access. And even my medical source, I don't really even talk in that great a detail
Yeah.
with.
Right.
So
Probably good to protect both you and them.
yeah. Yeah, to be honest. I don't push it though either. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like there's like I have no interest in getting anybody in trouble. You know what I mean? Like
Of
it's not
course.
worth it to me
Yeah.
to like report on something that is, I don't know, it's not what we do at this website.
Twitch chat, you better settle down. Captain James Kirk, 25 bits, says as soon as talk about the team president came up, he completely abandoned the pot. Just saying. Talking about you. St. Brown mentioned that Gibbs hasn't missed anything so far and hasn't mentioned anything to him and their friends. You talk about a potential holdout and stuff. Yeah, I'm not trying to like say anyone's not trustworthy or whatever. I don't see any evidence, and I'd be surprised by any sort of holdout from Gibbs. I'm not saying it won't happen, but it doesn't vibe with what I know about the situation right now. I'm excited to see how Laporta looks too. Obviously, good news last night that he's been fully cleared, which was the expectation all along, but always good to hear that ahead of camp. So that
Perfect timing too. I mean, perfect timing.
What do you mean by that?
Well, like I question of the day is just set
sure.
up. It just set up perfectly for.
I don't like breaking news at 7:30 p.m., 8 p.m., but outside of that,
Yeah.
perfect timing. Perfect timing of the day. Chat. Twitch chat. I'm about to mute you guys and just answer questions from YouTube.
Whoa.
Were there more questions? Lions questions, to be clear. What are we talking about? Oh, no problem, Michael. On YouTube.
What we should talk about is the lack of understanding of the salary cap by the Rams people. Holy cow.
Well, okay. I think there's this thought that dead cap is like you're continually paying out a player. Dead cap is just money that you already paid out that wasn't hitting the cap, now hitting the cap. That's what dead cap is.
Mm-hmm. People understand that contracts just when
Freeze.
yeah.
This is all
Forever.
This is we're talking about something that no one knows we're talking about, but it's basically like there's a lot of confusion around Aaron Donald's situation because as soon as he comes back, his contract that he last signed becomes active again, and you have to pay what's in that contract or cut him or restructure or whatever.
Yeah, we went through this when Calvin retired.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, and it almost happened last year with Ragnar, right? Like, obviously his salary, you wouldn't have to pay his entire salary because he was only going to play a month of the season, so you'd prorate what was left of his salary.
But the Rams fan base is going through it because they don't understand how salary caps work. And look, it's not just the fan base; it's a couple of writers too who don't know what they're doing. But you know, that's all right. Do your job, man.
Listen,
Learn how stuff works.
the salary cap is complicated, and
I
don't
is.
fault fans for not knowing the intricacies.
No,
of it.
not fans.
But
Nope.
if it's your job to cover the team, like you should at least get a general understanding of it.
You also don't have to tweet everything you think as well.
That's also true.
Just an idea.
That expands well beyond salary cap NFL. That won't be necessary. I am Sam. Anything else, chat, or do you want to jump? Oh, here we go. And how am I supposed to pronounce your name? NKRZYK. No, I don't know. We'll say.
I think you had it.
We'll say Zyqua.
Whoa, that's not where I thought you were going with that.
We're just gonna do the back end of it. Do you believe one or both of the following happens? JMO breaks 1,200 yards, or Tisla breaks 600 yards?
Who?
He didn't. By the way, didn't even give you the option of neither happening.
I know.
Do you believe one or both will happen?
That's right about where I expect both of them. Like that's kind of like
that's where you're setting the over under.
Yeah, to be honest. Because JMO's been what at like 11, so I think he could hit 12.
Just over 1,000 2 years ago, and just like 1130 something.
11 something, yeah. So like I think he could hit 12, and I think I've Tesla at 6 is what I had him at before.
He was at 1,117 last year.
Okay. I'm going to go with the one that I think is more likely is Tesla hits 600.
I think so too.
That's what I think is.
And not just because I have a
I think both are
gentleman's bet
possible.
with you on Laporta getting more, or I'm sorry, on Tesla getting more yards than Gibbs receiving. It's
the
hard.
fan base sided with you, by the way.
Did they?
When I put the poll out there,
Yeah.
it was like 60-40
Okay.
in your favor.
The
So
thing with JMO that's tough for me is that I think last year was kind of ideal for him in terms of opportunity, because Tesla was still kind of coming along, and because there was no Laporta in the back half of the season, it kind of feels like he's hit pretty close to the cap of what he's capable of in Detroit. We kind of had this discussion on Monday.
Well, the biggest obstacle is St. Brown.
Yes.
Like, because St. Brown's always going to lead the team. Like, honestly.
Yes.
And Petzing tends to favor tight ends a little bit more.
Right.
And so where does Laporta fall?
Yes.
Is his back going to hold him back, or
that's
is
the thing,
Petzing
like,
going to push him over the edge? Like,
if JMO gets increased production, where is that coming from?
right.
Who is it coming at the expense of? And listen, I get that Jamison Williams is continuing to improve upon his game and be a better football player. And as he becomes a better football player, then he warrants more targeting. And as his route tree improves and he's able to do more routes, then that could increase his opportunities. But I just feel like I don't want to even say that he's close to a complete player, because I don't think that's true. Like, I think he has room to grow. And I think the Lions think he has another level to take his game. But they also have Laporta. They also have Gibbs. They don't want to take the ball away from those guys either. So it's hard for me to see J-Mo get beyond what he got last year. At least significantly so.
I think the interesting question is, does Goff break 5,000? Because I think he has the skill players to break 5,000. And does. That would be, I still think getting him 4,500 is like that's
the sweet spot.
Yeah. But if these guys, excel the way we think they can, could he break 5? The
problem is I don't want him to, because that to me tells me that they're throwing the ball too much.
Maybe, or they're just wildly productive.
But
no, Goff has never hit 5,000.
No,
the closest he's come is 24 when he went 4,600. No, he with the Rams he went 4,688.
But that's the thing, like, that involved a lot of pass attempts. Mm-hmm. His yards per attempt have stayed relatively, like, so like 2024 throws the ball 539 times, 8.6 yards per attempt. That's a career high, 8.6 yards per attempt, and he was still 400 yards short. That's where you want to be. Like, that 2024 offense is exactly where you want to be. Now, if he had thrown it as many times as he did last year, which was about 40 more times, would that have gotten him there? Not, but it would have been really close. But to stay that efficient while throwing the ball that many times,
it would have. Yeah, if he was. Oh no, sorry, I was looking at the wrong rate. Go ahead. Sorry.
But I'm just saying, like, when you're throwing the ball that much, 30, 40 times a game, it's hard to stay at that level of efficiency. And it's because the reason you're throwing that many times is because you're being put in bad situations. You're having to throw on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10. And it's hard to be successful in those situations, which is going to drop your yards per attempt down. Like, his yards per attempt were down 0.7 yards per attempt last year, but he threw it 40 more times. So his yardage was almost identical, 60 yards off or so. So I don't want to see him throw 5,000 yards. I will take his 2024 stat line 10 out of 10 times.
Hold on. The funny thing is, I'm going to do the math on it, because I did the math in my head, and the math in my head is very funny. And I want to see if it's right.
Does it take him to, if he had thrown the same amount of attempts in 2024 as 2025, would he be like right there at 8.6 yards per attempt? Is that what you're doing?
Well, I was giving him I was giving him 9.
9 yards per attempt?
Yeah.
He's at 8.6 yards per attempt.
Oh, that's adjusted. I gave him the adjusted. All right,
yeah, at 8.6. I don't know why I went negative.
It's 335.
At 8.6 yards per attempt with the amount of attempts last year, he's at 4,970 yards.
Yeah. When I did it with 9, it was closer.
Yeah. When you did it with a number that wasn't right.
That's why I was doing it in my head. I was like, wait a minute. That's closer than I thought.
Monkey says, do you think having so many mouths to feed causes someone to not extend in the future, or are these guys team-oriented enough to not care?
That's the thing we talked about when they extended J-Mo was now can you extend Laporta, or is it justifiable because you have so many, right? Because you're talking about you now have what should essentially be your number 2 and number 3 targets now competing against each other in the peck, and so it's a good question. I don't know. because
Yeah.
until we see Sam resign, maybe it will. Maybe that will be the reason why he doesn't resign, right? I mean, I guess we'll find that answer out, is what I'm saying.
I almost feel like of all the people, JMO has the most reason to not resign here, because I do think his potential elsewhere will get him more yards, will get him more statistics, will get him more targets, and theoretically more money.
The hardest part with him is, when is that wide receiver market going to plateau?
Right.
Because right now the wide receiver market is ascending, but every draft class, there's like 30 guys coming
Yeah.
in. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so like almost every team is getting a new shiny toy that is supposed to be like ready to go out of the box.
Yeah.
And so if every year every team gets a new receiver that's great, when is that cost,
Right.
balance gonna show up, right?
Yeah. When there's high
Because
supply,
it's going to have to it's
you have
going
to
to
draft
level out at some point.
right.
We just will it run out before JMO comes up, contract comes up again.
Right. Well, and I guess maybe Tesla is the first guy to enter this conversation amongst the wide receivers they currently haven't. Or does his rookie deal take him beyond where JMO signed? I don't know. Either way, like
I got those numbers real fast.
Tesla.
JMO is signed through 29. Tesla is signed through 28.
Yeah. So Tesla is maybe the first person to have this conversation about, and like to talk about Tesla, a Tesla extension is obviously extremely premature at this point, but I think he'll face an interesting decision when we get there. If he's developed into, a wide receiver 2 type of talent, is his best opportunity here in Detroit, and will his local ties be enough to keep him here, or the fact that the Lions may or may not be contenders? It's an interesting conversation to have.
Amon-Ra's contract is up in 28 as well. So, and I wonder if he'll get an extension before that. Well, no, that's what I'm saying though. But like your top 3 guys, you're having that conversation in 28 about what are you doing with the future of this room with the 3 of them. The nice thing is that you can probably get another really good receiver in the 27 draft, and then you have insurance policies going on, right?
Sure. Sorry, I got distracted by 61 predictions ahead of the 2026 season.
Who wrote that?
It's for SB Nation, Jarrett Bailey. We've got a good Lions one and a bad Lions one, and maybe more.
Amazing.
The number 10 prediction is Lions score 40 points in consecutive weeks.
Wait, what was this in?
SB Nation, 61 predictions ahead.
Oh,
Here,
got it.
Chat.
Just the mothership prediction.
Yeah.
Got it.
So the back-to-back weeks are Panthers and Cardinals. Makes sense. But before then, Bills open Highmark Stadium with a bang. Beat the Lions 38-24. Ooh. 18 is Cardinals trade
24.
Cardinals trade Buda Baker to the Lions.
Oh, all right. I'll take it. Who are they giving up?
I don't know. They don't go that far.
Oh.
Hold on. Let me look at his contract. Yeah, I don't think so. 14.4 million base salary. Obviously, you only have to pay about half of that, but good luck. Plus a $60 million salary next year. Plus a roster bonus. Yeah, nah, that ain't happening.
Why not?
Money.
Possible.
Lions win NFC North.
I believe that.
That's all Lions related ones. Can we get an Eric book list? Ooh. We talked a little bit about potential football books to buy for our Pride of Detroit Direct subscribers, but I'm happy with you expanding that to our general audience.
Sure. Depends on what you want to know. When we did the when we were talking PODD, we were asked a question just about just general, like what do I need to learn to get my feet wet type of thing. And the book the book that we recommended was Take Your Eye Off the Ball.
Yep.
Can you see that? I don't know. I'm missing the camera or whatever.
Oh, how long have I been on the wrong screen, chat? Did I hit something?
Just a second. Just a second.
Okay.
Take Your Eye Off Ball by Pat Kerwin is
There you go.
that is the nice, good intro book, right? Gives you basic ideas, behind the scenes stuff. Can be a little outdated because it was written, oh geez, I don't even know how long ago. But the examples in it can be, like I said, a little outdated, but it's still a good, still a very good concept. Yeah, we're talking like it's like 10, 15 years old, but still gets you like a lot of base knowledge to start. If you want to learn the cap, Jeremy and I reference this book a lot. This is Crunchy Numbers. Crunchy Numbers is by Jason Fitzgerald,
Yeah.
Who is the over the cap guy, right? And so you can see, I've got like it tabbed out and stuff like that with certain things that I want to reference, and but if you want to learn salary cap and you don't get bored easily, this is an incredible reference book to just try and read it straight. It can get boring at times and a bit into weeds because it's you're doing numbers, but if that's your thing, this is the salary cap book that I should forward to Rams fans or writers.
At least one. It also has an index, so you don't need to put a bunch of things in it. You can just be like, what's the 5th-year option rule? Like, let me just look in the back.
Fitzgerald and then Brad Spielberger, who we talked to a lot.
Yep.
They wrote a book called The Drafting Stage, which is about, it's basically an explanation for their trade values.
Oh, trade value chart.
Yeah.
For the draft.
It's thin. It's easy. It's not an overly expensive book, but it basically talks about why they did what they do, and it's again, I like both authors, and so you give them a little bit of a support. And this is draft stuff.
Yeah, Spielberger's awesome. I occasionally shoot him some DMs about salary cap stuff that I don't understand. And
if you want, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, he's usually nice enough to respond at some point. So, shout out, Brad.
If speaking of draft and combine stuff, if you want to know more about the combine drills, this book tells you more about combine drills.
Can you move it a little bit to your left?
It's expensive. This is an expensive book. I got it a little cheaper, but it's basically like what the guys do to prep for the drills. So like, can you see the drills?
Sure. Yeah.
They show you some different. It shows you stuff like that, and then what the players, they explain like as if a player was reading this, like best way to approach a drill like that.
Gotcha. Interesting. I'm trying to think which. I don't really have that much more. There's the Lions Guide playbook. Yeah, that's the other one you got.
Oh, here's the Lions playbook. This is Ben Johnson's playbook, which is funny because they just rewrote. Bobby just rewrote this book for the Bears, basically like the 2025 version, and I was like, right. Man, he must have just took the cover off and put. No, I'm pretty joking. But this is like they break down the plays and the frequency in which they were used and stuff like that. It's a neat reference book. This is the pass coverage glossary. This one's more in the weeds. If you're looking for,
is that like Cody Alexander's book?
No, this is Cameron Saran, but okay. Cody Alexander's book I'm waiting to buy. It's like $30, the one that I want.
I recently followed him on your recommendation, and he's been awesome. And he's
Yeah,
actually
he's
put out
amazing.
a couple of Lions related things recently too. That if you're interested, I would go back and look at his stuff.
Um, yeah, he has a book.
Him on Twitter right here.
He has a book that's in my Amazon wish list that called Match Quarters, which is basically breaking down some of the more modern and it's the same, that's what his Substack is called as well, Match Quarters, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's right. Yeah.
And he's, again, it's an in the weeds type of book, but he's a really smart guy and he really understands how to explain things well. Um, this is a little bit more just this is called Scout Speak. It's more of like learning about like how what a scout goes through, terminology they use, stuff like that. Neil's a pretty good guy, Neil Stratton. Um, People may remember him because he got in a little bit of a Twitter beef with people because he's also a Dolphins guy, and so there was a little bit of the he liked the Caden Proctor pick recently, and he was like, "Oh, the Lions were going to pick Caden Proctor," and he was trying to like justify, and some people got upset because that wasn't like realistic.
He's the guy that's like partially responsible for giving the GM of the year.
GM awards. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. He's a former scout. He's like I said, we follow each other. We've talked in the past. It's a easy read. It's not, it's again, if you're interested in the scouting aspect and what those guys do.
Yeah.
Scout Speak is a good one. If you want to talk philosophical, our good friend Doug Farrer.
Oh, he's got a book
Right.
out. I don't think I even knew that. I should grab
the genius of desperation.
Love that.
Recently, there was a basketball coach who was he made a pivot in his direction of his season, and it completely changed the direction of his team. And they asked him, like, what did you do? And he's like, I was sitting in my office debating what to do, and on my shelf was this book called The Genius of Desperation, and Farrah got a shout out for it. So like it's applicable beyond just like football, as I guess what I'm saying.
Right.
But
I mean,
it's
probably beyond sports if we're being honest, right?
right. And it's talking about like how like there's a whole variety of things that go that he goes into, but it's basically like innovations and change and how that can happen.
That's how
so
we talk about the college game a lot. Like these teams that can't recruit well, their cheat code, their method of gaining an advantage is innovation. That's where you see some of like, I'm guessing that's what the book goes into a little bit. Like some of like the spread concepts gained popularity through these teams that just didn't have great recruiting because it was a way to find an advantage.
I haven't read this book yet, but it was recommended to me. And this is basically like a history. This is called The Perfect Pass. This is basically, I guess, like in history of what you were just talking about, like how the premise of the forward pass came about and its evolution and how it's changed and modernized football. And so I haven't read it yet, but this, like I said, this was recommended to me. It's SC Gwynn.
Don't know.
That's on my reading list. I got two more. Chris Brown has a pair of books, The Art of Football and The Essential Smart Football. Again, just like kind of basic concept books. And the last one I haven't read, I also have not read this one, but we know the author and he's really a guy that we respect quite a bit. And that's Blood and Guts by Tyler Dune. This is about the evolution of the tight end. And this is a book that I want to get to. I just have not been able to do it, but it talks about like how tight end has been modernized. And so these are the two books that I need to get to next. But
Check the index and see if Dan Campbell's in there. If not, I'm not buying it.
oh, I don't know. Look. Oh man, he's got all his citations and stuff. But there's no like glossary that says.
Oh, okay. Someone else. Before we get back to the show, I thought someone asked an interesting question, and one that I don't really ever address while we do the countdown. So if you don't know, we are currently over on the website ranking the roster from 90 to 1, and that is based off of 8 people on staff ranking the entire roster from 1 to 90. The 8 people involved, I'll just let you know, is me, Eric, John, Ryan, Morgan, Miko, Al, and Brandon. Someone asked, what were the biggest disagreements on? Biggest debates. So the first thing I want to say is, like, there's no discussion. We each create our rankings individually, so there's not really a debate in terms of, like, you know, we discuss this one person. No, we should be this. The master list that you see is just an average. It's just taking all 8 of those lists and averaging them out. No one is weighted more than the other. There's no discussion. But I can tell you which players had the biggest span of differences. Do you want to try to guess them?
I think Jack Fox had the biggest one, right? And that was probably my fault because I just put all 3 special teamers at 51, 52, and 53.
This will shock people. But you and I were the ends, the polar ends of Jack Fox's ranking. I had him 13, you had him 51.
Yeah, I didn't. I put them there as placeholders and then just never moved them. And was like, I'm like, well, these 3 are going to be in the top 53 for me because the way I look at the list is who are the 53 guys that I think are going to make the team, and then how do I rank those 53?
Yeah.
Right? Sure. Because I might think player 54 is better than player 50, but if 50 is going to make the team, then he's more valuable to the team. Therefore, he's going to be higher on the list for me. So
sure,
that's the way I did it. As I'm like, they're going to make it, and then now that we start putting guys in after that, then it's like who are my all pros, right? They're going to go up top. Then who are my Pro Bowlers, right?
That's the other thing about this list too, is like we don't give strict parameters. We don't tell people like this is based on 2026 alone, or this is, you know, you have to throw away positional, but we don't tell anybody any of that. Rank them however you want to rank them.
Yeah.
And maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. I think it's more fun to just have people rank them however they want to rank them. But yeah, I had Jack Fox 13, and I don't think I regret it. He's an all-pro player.
Yeah, it was after I saw Jack Fox's range, and then I was like, oh yeah, that was me.
Yeah,
that was my fault. I'm like, I didn't really think about it. I can't do it about it now, but I probably should have been higher.
Yeah, you're the only one that have him outside of the top 30. But oddly enough, I think he landed exactly where he was last year.
Yes. Maybe that was it. Maybe I was just subconsciously trying to tamper everybody's expectations down. Usually John has him like a top 10 player.
Yeah, that's why, like, I was surprised I was the highest, because that's what the conversation used to be, and I think that probably says more about where the Lions roster was at. Like, is Jack Fox a top 10 player on the team? Everyone, I think, can pretty confidently say the answer is no now, and that has nothing to do with Jack Fox, but everything to do with the fact that Lions have a pretty good top 10 player list.
I keep my lists. I'm gonna look at where I had Jack in previous years.
But while you do that, I want to list some of the other players that had high discrepancies. So the other special teamers too. So Jake Bates had a 28-point discrepancy. He was as high as 24. He was as low as 52. 52. Good job.
That was again. That was just me throwing them in. Oh, I had Jack Fox at 31 and 25, and I had him at 25 and 24. Yikes.
Hogan Hatton actually not that different. He went from 36 to 55, so a 12-point difference. Isaiah Pacheco, very polarizing, and I think a lot of that has to do. Al has been a very noted skeptic of of
Sure.
Pacheco.
Sure.
Not to call out anybody, but like I think he has points about Pacheco. Like I think there is room for a healthy amount of skepticism for him.
You follow Warren Sharp, and you're going to get a lot of that.
True. So Pacheco was as high as 18, as low as 48. 30-point difference.
I had him at 24. What'd you have him at? Do you know?
29.
There you go.
Thomas Harper, pretty varied difference, as high as 28, as low as 54.
I had him at 31.
I was at 34, so he landed 33, right in between our numbers. So good job, us. Chuck Clark, kind of in the same camp here, as high as 26, as low as 52. But he's a guy that we've talked about, like he could miss the roster. It would not be completely shocking.
49.
I had him at 26. I was the high one on him. I like Chuck Clark a lot. But I can fully admit, like, he might not make the roster. Peyton Turner, not surprisingly, high on the list of high variance because of the injury. As high as 39, as low as 63. That seems honestly fair. Joe Bashy, which that's just one outlier had him 55. Everyone else had him in the 70s.
Yeah. Must be probably one of our Michigan State staff.
Nope. Listen, he's an experienced player. Like him making the roster is not out of the question. He has what?
It'd be hard though.
He started 5 games last year for the Colts.
Okay.
So, I'm trying to think if there's anyone else or see if there's anyone else. Avonte Maddox, kind of the same thing with Chuck Clark, as high as 23, as low as 48. Bridgewater.
I was higher on Avonte for some reason. I was really what was the highest on him?
23.
Oh wow.
That was me.
I wasn't that high. I wasn't that high.
I'd probably drop him a little bit in retrospect. Bridgewater is kind of an interesting one too. As high as 26, as low as 50.
40.
I had him 50. It could be. You know what? It's a good point, Boulder. It could be like here are the 10 most polarizing players on the Detroit Lions roster. I like where you're thinking, Boulder. Thank you. All right. Cody, I just upped my audio a little bit. I can see my own levels from my broadcasting software, and I want to get it so it's just not hitting the red. The red means like, I don't even know what it means, but like I think it skews some of the audio if I go into the red. So I should be in a good spot now. Hopefully whatever you're listening to us on has capabilities to turn it up even higher. But it's tricky to balance the levels because I want to be at the same level as my co-hosts, and can be a little variant depending on whether it's Eric or Miko or Ryan. Sometimes their mic levels jump up and down. So I'll try to do my best to speak loudly and clearly and not get past the little red levels. So anyways, I think that was an extremely long break. So I think it's about time to jump back into the show where we have plenty of questions waiting for us. I want to say like 6 or 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we got 6 questions. So we should have a full segment here. What's up, Ty? Thanks for stopping by, buddy. We're about to jump into the second segment. So you didn't miss the whole show. All right, here we go. And we are back here on the Midweek Mailbag, bringing down your questions ahead of Detroit Lions training camp, which is just 1 week away. Ed Helinski with the next question says, for whatever reason, which players are considered to be on the bubble even before Lions training camp begins?
Well, I mean, that's a bit of a spoiler if we talk about this too much, because we're about to start that series next week, right?
That's true. But I can list every single player we have listed on our Bubble Watch series.
Oh, man. All right. Settle in.
in case you don't know, Bubble Watch is kind of a fun thing we do every year, which is I put together an Excel sheet of all the players I view on the bubble. I try to be very wide with it, so that my opinions will overlap with pretty much everybody, so that I include every single person that someone might consider on the bubble. And then our staff just votes whether they think they are in the roster or outside of the bubble of the roster. So in the 53 or outside of the 53. And we vote every single week. And that way we just we look at the trajectory of players. We see, if there's an injury or a good performance in the preseason, how that affects everyone, not just the player who has that good performance, but the rest of the roster. So here are let's see how many I have on offense. I have 15 players on the roster bubble on offense. And again, I'm being very wide with the bubble here. Luke Altmaier, Jacob Sailors, Cedric Wilson, Jackson Meeks, Dominic Lovett, Tom Kennedy, Tyler Conklin, Zach Horton, Miles Kitzelman, Giovanni Manu, Colby Sorsdal, Ben Barch, Juice Scruggs, Seth McLaughlin, Michael Neese. So let's start with that group real quick. You and I agree with pretty much everyone but 2 players on that entire list. We don't need to get into which ones.
Well, here's the deal. You put out your 53-man prediction.
Yep.
And then mine comes at the end of my series, which I'm hoping to finish this week and then have that 53 out Monday.
Yeah.
And so as of right now, I have basically taken 2 of your ins and just taken them off. And I chose 2 defensive players instead.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting when I realized what you did. I'm like, oh, you're going. Is it 23 and 27?
23 and 27. That's where I'm at right now.
23 in on offense, 27 in on defense.
Now I expect that to change.
Sure,
but where I'm at now, I'm leaning heavy D.
That makes sense. But to break down, so like Luke Altmaier, we just talked about it. Like, I don't think he's in competition with Teddy Bridgewater. He's in competition of whether to keep a third quarterback. Same with Jacob Sailors. I don't think he can jump Sione Vaki, but I think he can make a case for RB4. Wide receiver, I think, is maybe the most open position. I think we all agree that, your top 3 plus Greg Dortch are in. So do you keep a wide receiver 5? Do you keep a wide receiver 6? If so, I think Cedric Wilson, Jackson Meeks, Dominic Lovett, Tyler, and Tom Kennedy are your top 4 candidates. Obviously, they have all those UFL players. What's the QB / wide receiver?
It's
not Maurice Alexander.
Maurice Alexander.
It is Maurice Alexander?
Malik Cunningham.
Thank you.
It used to be Maurice Alexander.
That's right.
Now it's Malik Cunningham.
Thank you. I knew that didn't sound right. Tight end 3 spot we have between Conklin, Horton, and Kitzelman. Giovanni Manu is arguing for an OT4 spot. I think we all pretty much agree that Borum is solidified as OT3. Sorsdal is in that mix as well. Brings a little more versatility than Manu. And then, the backup. I mean, the interior offensive line position pretty wide open beyond your 1 starter, I guess. Like, Scruggs is technically on the bubble because maybe McLaughlin can show up. Barch could be anywhere from starter to off the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Neese is maybe the one that I'm being the most generous with here.
Yeah, probably.
Defensively, so again, we're probably assuming Hutchinson, Wanham, and Derek Moore are in, which leaves Hassanin, Peyton Turner, and Anthony Lucas on the roster bubble. At defensive tackle, you have Aleem McNeil, Tyleek Williams. Levi, I debated putting on the roster bubble, but for now I have him as in. That leaves Tyler Lacey.
I think that's safe.
I think maybe. We'll see. Tyler Lacey, Skylar Gale Howard, Mekhi Wingo, Chris Smith, Tyree West, Jay Tufele, Aiden Kiana Aina. Huge group of guys there amongst the defensive tackles who we're going to talk about in a minute on the roster bubble there. At linebacker, Jack Campbell, Malcolm Rodriguez, and Derek Barnes and Rolder are pretty solidly in. So that's 4. Do you keep you probably keep a 5th, so that's between Damone Clark, Trevor Nowaski, Eric Hunter. Do you keep a 6th and keep 2 of those guys? Maybe even 7? Keep all 3? That's up for debate. At corner, we have Reed, Rakusin, Rakestraw, McCreary, and Abney is pretty solidly in, so that's 5. Do you make room for Khalil Dorsey and Nick Whiteside, the 2 guys that we have on the roster bubble? 1 of them, 2 of them, none of them? And then at safety, the only ones I have safely in are Kirby Joseph and Christian Izzy, and obviously Brian Branch. I think we're all expecting to start on PUP. So that leaves, again, like the veteran kind of camp battle between Avonte Maddox and Chuck Clark. Do you end up keeping both those guys? One of them, Thomas Harper, is one of those guys that's more on the developmental side, probably brings you some special teams, so he's certainly in competition with Dan Jackson and Lauren Strickland. And that's kind of the bubble. Anything you want to pitch in before we move on?
No, the one thing I was going to talk about, I think we're going to get in our next question.
Great. Yeah, let's talk about those defensive tackles, because Josh at JHev HVAC asks, out of Wingo, Skylar Gill Howard, and Tyree West, who has the best chance of making the roster?
So in your 53-man projection, you had Skylar Gill Howard and not the other 2, correct?
Correct.
And I am in alignment with you on that. I think that there's a reason Wingo didn't really play last season, and then they went after a player who's almost identical in his skill set. They want to challenge Wingo, and they believe he can be better. That's why they invested in him. If not, they would have just continued to dump investments in the Wingo. So, in my opinion, they believe Gil Howard is higher than Wingo. They also took Gil Howard ahead of Tyree West in the pecking order when they had the opportunity to draft them. So West, I think, is going to play a different. He'll have a little bit of 3 technique, but I think he's going to kick out to that big end a little bit more. Tough part with that is you're going to be facing, I believe Levi will be there. I think Tyler Lacey's going to be there. And then now you have Hassanin there as well. And that's a tough road to try and overcome. So I think that puts West in a more precarious position. So I'm leaning Gil Howard as having the best opportunity by, based on how I'm reading the tea leaves.
Yeah, I think that last part is what seals it for me is just the competition at the very specific position where you're going to play. Yes, they're both defensive tackles in Skylar Gill Howard and Tyree West, but Tyree West is going to be more of that 5-tech big end role, which is crowded. And listen, like 3-tech is crowded too, right? Because you're going to have obviously Reem and Tyleek playing those positions. Maybe you get a little bit of Levi at that position as well. But to me, it feels like an either-or situation with Skylar Gill Howard or Mekhi Wingo when it comes to the reserve at that position. And because they put in the extra investment in Skylar Gill Howard, because Wingo didn't make the team, didn't make the field much after they tried him early in the season, tells me that they weren't probably particularly happy with his development so far. He can change that, to be clear. Like,
sure,
I am not counting him out. I am not saying there's no way Mekhi Wingo can get better because they didn't like him last year. Maybe Skylar Gill Howard was like a little bit of a fire. And maybe that's all that he needed, is a little bit of fire to say, hey, your job is not safe here. Go out there and win it. And maybe Wingo responds to that. But the way things currently stand with how Wingo ended the season and the draft pick investment that they made in Gil Howard, I feel like I have to give the edge to Gil Howard. Plus, admittedly, like, I fell in love with his story. I really like him as a person. And his tape is really fun and exciting. Granted, it's not the highest level of competition, and he still has a ton to grow as a run defender, right? That's going to be Gil Howard's, I think, biggest hill to climb early if he wants to not only make the team, but then like actually see the field. Dan Campbell said it outright. Like, they drafted those guys for their pass rush, but if they don't trust him in the run game, they're not going to see the field.
Which is why I'd think Wingo maybe didn't see the field last year.
Yeah. But like, maybe it just took him time. Maybe that's something that takes time to develop in his game, which would put the advantage at Wingo, right? Like, he's now had 2 years to develop that part of his game, where in college, I'm sure they were just like, Skylar Howard, just go get the quarterback. Go get him.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm leaning Gil Howard right now, but I'm with you with Wingo he certainly has the skills to overcome.
Yeah. Burke Gabsgoo.
One second. Burke
Okay,
talks
go
about
ahead.
the offensive line, but Rybo is talking about defensive line. Since we just talked about
Okay, yeah.
defensive line, you want to go skip down him?
Absolutely. Rybo at Rybo Lions asked, in Jeremy's pre-camp 53-man projection, he remarked that he liked the defensive tackle group a lot. Seems like a lot of versatility amongst the group could be key. Can you speak more to what you like about the DT room and elaborate on how they could take the pressure off a patchwork secondary? Yeah. I mean, you kind of nailed it there with your question, is that it's the versatility. It's the having guys in specific roles, and some of them that can kind of play multiple roles. So when you have a guy like Skylar Gill Howard who can lock down the 3, but then you have a guy like Levi who can go 3 to 5 or 3 to maybe even 7, or really nose to 7. And then you have your kind of duo combo with Aleem McNeil and Tyleek Williams who can play nose to 3, nose to 5 if you really need them to. I think there's just so many different looks that you can give people that'll give them trouble. Now, I'll also be the first to admit, like, it's a little scary if you go, sorry, Aleem McNeil, like, you suffered another injury. Now what does it look like? Well, then you're kind of in a precarious situation where, like, okay, now do you put Tyleek as your full-time 3 and you put, J2 Fele is your nose? Okay, that doesn't look as good. That looks as maybe a downgrade from last year when you had someone more like DJ Reader who's a little bit more veteran. But I've been a Levi Onwuzurike fan for a while, and so I'm hopeful for him, even though there's plenty of reason to be skeptical about that. I'm certainly more optimistic about the edge room than I have been probably since this regime took over. And I just think they can offer several different looks, several different players in several different positions to keep the offensive line off balance, right? I think one of the biggest advantages in football that doesn't get talked about enough is that the offensive line remains stagnant the entire game. The defensive line can then adjust to that. If they don't want their best player to go up against the best player on the offensive line, the defense can change that. There's not much the offense can do about that. And because the Lions have so many interchangeable pieces, I think it will allow them to exploit the best matchup every single week by attacking whoever they view as the biggest weakness on that offensive line with their best players.
The way I view the defensive line is I like the top 3 players at defensive tackle and the top 3 players on the edge.
Sure.
I think those 6 guys are collectively better than the 6 guys that they had last year or the year prior, right? I like those top sticks. I like those starters, right?
Yeah.
And it's beyond that where my questions
Sure.
Are raised. And like a lot of the camp battles, the strategy appears to be, let's get 2 guys that can battle it out for this specific role and another 2 guys for this specific role. And we see this throughout the defensive roster.
Yeah.
So you have Wingo and Gil Howard battling it out for that kind of pass rushing defensive tackle role. You see, so after McNeil, Williams, and Levi, then it is, what do you want those last 2 roles to be? And I think there's going to be a pass rushing role, which means one of Wingo or Gil Howard is probably going to have that battle. Yep. And then I think they're going to want a reserve nose tackle. And so that means Keanu Aina and Tufele are going to be battling it out for a role. And so and it's the same thing kind of on the edge. I think Aiden and then the combination of Wanham and Moore is going to be your set. And then it's who's the next best guy. And right now Turner has the most experience. So I'm kind of laying Turner down as edge 4. And then we got the 2 UDFA guys in Lucas and O'Neill that kind of are going to be battling it out. Where Turner is going to be battling it is do they want a pass rusher on the edge, or do they want to keep an extra big end? Right. So it's going to be kind of Turner versus Lacey, or Turner versus West, or Turner versus Hassanin, and who wins that battle of that kind of big edge. And that's kind of how I see that kind of edge 4 playing out. But it's part of the reason why I've leaned a little heavier on defense. In my 53-man projection, I'm going to still keep the names kind of to myself, but I think that they're going to keep 10 defensive linemen between defensive tackles and edge,
which is one more than I had.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is, again, that's one of the spots where I took an offensive player and said, I need an extra defensive lineman in my projection right now, just because I don't know exactly how those roles are going to sort themselves out. But it looks like two guys for this and two guys for this and two guys for this. And we'll see how these battles kind of, play themselves out, because if it comes down to Turner versus Hassanin, that's a fun battle. Like, let's see how that goes.
Yep. And yeah, that's kind of how I viewed it too a little bit. It was like Turner versus Hassanin versus Tyler Lacey
versus West.
Versus West. Yeah. Exactly. And in that case, I didn't have a winner on the rush edge. Like, I was just like, there's too many questions around Turner. Not sure about Hassanin. Don't know what he's going to look like at kind of that big end position.
Yeah.
And so Tyler Lacey is the guy who I had in, because kind of like proven, like not a huge difference maker necessarily, but a guy that they clearly trusted enough to not only make the roster last year, but play a fair amount. All right. Let's move on to the offensive line. Let's talk some battles there. Burke Gabsgoo says, for the battle at left guard, what are the strengths and weaknesses for each possible player? Let's just keep them to Christian Mahogany, Miles Frazier, and Ben Barch.
Cool. I'm with it. For Mahogany, it's power, right? And that is a theme amongst the interior players that you see the Lions, bringing into the fold.
Yep.
It's very interesting when you look at the interior offensive line, because Tate Ratledge, Christian Mahogany, Cade Mays, and Miles Frazier all ended their college careers playing right guard. All four of them.
Yeah.
Typically in college, your right guard is your power mauler, right? That's typically the way it works.
Yep.
And it's no surprise that those are the things that we associate with each of these guys. And that's, I believe, what the theme is with what they're looking for under Petzing, is they want these interior maulers who have athleticism and can move, because they all have, like, both Mahogany and Ratledge have, and Frazier, their RAS is well over 9.
Yep.
Right. Cade's is 7.5, but it's still, he moves better than I think he looks. And again, very power based. And so when you're looking at Mahogany and you're looking at Frazier, the things that you're saying are, these are tall, powerful guys. Right. With Mahogany, I think he moves better than Frazier does. Frazier, there's a reason why Frazier has also played tackle, because I think he's not as fluid a mover as Mahogany is, which is one of the reasons why I give the advantage to Mahogany, and why I think Mahogany will fit better into a Petzing type scheme, is that movement and athleticism show up. They can both play both sides of the ball. I think they can both play right and left.
Yep.
They both have good range. But Mahogany's also more experienced, right? He's been in the starting lineup for, all of last year, save when he was out with the broken leg, and then a few games a year prior. Whereas Frazier hasn't really even found the field, right? So Mahogany's got an advantage in experience. He's been around a year longer. He's got a little bit more. So, like, that's why I lean more Mahogany over Frazier. Barch is less power, more technique, more Graham Glasgow, but with better, with like real good athleticism.
Sure.
But the injury history on Barch is really, I think, what is going to hold him back, because he's been in the league for 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
But he hasn't played more than 3 games in 5 years, because of his injury history. Yeah. Started 3 games, right?
Yeah.
And so Barch's injury history is, I think, what holds him back, but technically he's a sound player. Athletically, he's a sound player. And I get why those attributes appeal to this coaching staff who love those veterans who they can rely on. And I think it'll be good for a player like him to push Mahogany because, again, I think Mahogany has an advantage over Frazier. So bringing in that veteran to push Mahogany and make him stay on his toes, I think that's a good strategy. But I'm still leaning Mahogany for all those reasons that I listed.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I mean, just the Barch addition to me is the wild card of this group because he's an experienced player. 55 games, 24 starts, 11 starts in 2021, started all 5 that he was healthy with in 2022. And then he stuck around with San Francisco for 3 years, right? Couldn't stay healthy, only played 3 games in 2024, 6 games last year. But if he can stay healthy, and I understand you might as well put that on the Lions' crest, but if he can stay healthy, like, I get it. He is a guy that I think is a starting capable player, and certainly good to have that on the bench if you end up going with Christian Mahogany, but I'm not counting him out as a legitimate option. And I think a lot of it goes back to just, again, reading the tea leaves of what Dan Campbell is saying. When I asked him about the left guard competition, he said very specifically, that's why we brought in Ben Barch, is to compete for that position. And I'm sure they'd love Christian Mahogany to come in and take a jump in his development and win that spot so that you have a young developmental player who's going to take on that role for years to come. But they aren't going to just give it to a guy they drafted to give it to a guy they drafted. He's going to have to go out there and earn it. And I don't know. There's something very appealing about Ben Barch to me. And maybe it's just like the appeal of every very injured player where it's just like, man, if he could just somehow get over that, you see all the potential in his game. But there is also a reason why we say availability is the best ability. So
I think subconsciously you just want me to be wrong on Mahogany as well.
It's an added benefit. All right, next question here. We got 2 more left. Austin A., one of our Pride of Detroit direct subscribers. Thanks for subscribing, Austin. Says, what Lion do you think is most likely to lead the league in a statistical category this season? All of these guys are near the top of the betting odds. So Goff in passing yards or passing touchdowns, Gibbs in rushing yards or rushing touchdowns, Amon-Ra in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns, Hutchinson in sacks. And I'm going to add one my own, Jack Campbell in tackles.
It was interesting because I was just looking at the betting odds the other day, trying to think of if I want how I wanted to ask a question, and I looked at the odds for offensive and defensive players of the year.
Yeah,
Hutchinson is I believe 4th. He's 4th in that.
Okay,
and Gibbs, number 1.
Really? Gibbs
is the betting favorite to be the offensive player of the year.
I feel like we should have written something on that. Why didn't you tell me?
I just noticed it. Yeah. And so with that in mind,
yeah,
I'm leaning towards Gibbs, and I'm going to go with rushing touchdowns. Gibbs leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns.
I think that's very possible. Where was he last year in that stat?
I think he'll be in the top 5 in rushing yards, but rushing touchdowns, I think he leads the way.
So he had 13 last year, which was 4th behind Jonathan Taylor, 18, Derrick Henry, 16, and Josh Allen, 14. So let's just say 3rd amongst running backs. The year before that, I bet he was even higher. Oh, maybe not. I think
he was also splitting with Montgomery.
Right. Oh no, yeah. So
right.
Gibbs tied. In 2024, he was tied for the most with 16. Tied with Henry and James Cook.
Right. I think a 16-18 isn't unheard of.
Sure.
He could reach that pinnacle.
No doubt.
Because I don't think Pacheco is going to vulture goal line snaps from Gibbs, because Gibbs is such a dynamic weapon, because you can get on the 1 yard line and not hand it off to Gibbs, and he can still catch a touchdown. You know what I mean? So they have to be wary of that threat. Therefore, they can't just stack the box against him.
I think I'm going to go with one of the most consistent players year to year, and that's Amon-Ra St. Brown receptions. He is placed in the top 5 every single year of the past 3 years. So he was tied for second in 2023 with 119. He was second in 2024 with 115, only behind Jamar Chase. He was fifth last year with 117. Puka Nacua had 129. I just think he hasn't gotten the title, so maybe that means something, maybe it doesn't. But he is always, like, as much as the Lions are going to spread the ball, and we had this conversation about all these other guys that could vulture some catches from him, he's still going to be wide receiver 1. He's still going to be Jared Goff's go-to player on third, and you got to have it. He's still going to be the guy that moves the chains in general. I think the chemistry with Jared Goff is what makes it most important, most reliable. The fact that he is a kind of quarterback that when it's not there, he's not going to force something. And so who is he going to rely upon if the first and second read aren't there? He's going to go down to Amon-Ra. And so I think Amon-Ra is a pretty safe bet to be at least in the top 5 of receptions. He has also been remarkably healthy, which helps, knock on wood. But yeah, I think Amon-Ra is maybe one of the safer bets amongst that group.
So we answered which one do we think? Which one do we want to happen? Which one? Because I know which one I want.
Sacks? Hutch sacks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any defensive like accomplishment from this group, give me that.
Yep. Yeah. Hutchinson leading league in sacks would be. What it would mean is the defense is playing at a better level, and they're getting that production out of the pressure, that the pass rush that they want.
All right. Final question here comes from Josh O, another Pride of Detroit Direct subscriber. Thank you, Josh. Says, could you rank each year of the Dan Campbell Lions from best to worst, the all-encompassing team, coaching and roster?
I mean, you have to go with 24 because they went 15-2 and were the number 1 team, and right, like that's one. 23 was such a good year, like, but I don't know if my emotions are getting in the way of that. Right, that offensive line was still pretty strong. They made the play. Like they won the division and the playoffs. So 23, maybe?
I think, I mean, the only one that can compete with it is 22, I would imagine, right? 2025. Like, they went 9-8 in 2022. They end the season with the Green Bay win.
Well, that's the thing, is how much weight do you put on that final game? Because that might be the best game. That's the best game, right?
Maybe. The problem with that is that season also includes is that the Patriots 29-0 loss.
No, that was 21, wasn't it?
No,
I hope it was not 21.
It was 2022.
Oh yeah, halfway through that season they were still bad in 22.
Yeah, they were
23 they were
1-6.
good the whole. Yeah, they were good the whole way. So 23 has to be better.
Yeah. It's crazy to think though that 2022 season includes both those games. Both one of the most iconic wins of this regime in a game. I think that's what makes that game.
I think that's what makes that game all the much better, is that they did struggle early, and the change, and the turnaround, and wasn't that when they didn't they get their first road win under Dan Campbell that year as well? Like I remember them being in Chicago that year, and like
I think you're right.
Yeah, like because I'm trying to remember, did they get a win on the road in 21 after?
Nope.
Right. Yeah. So it was such a interesting year, but I don't think like that team was great. I mean, they had great moments, and it was a necessary team.
By the end of the season, though, it felt like they were dangerous. Maybe not great, but they were dangerous.
You didn't want them to get in to the playoffs. Like
but that's a question. I think that's going to be kind of one of the most interesting questions, like theoretical questions to think about. How far could that 22 team have gotten if they had gotten into the playoffs? But you can't put them ahead of the team that got to the NFC Championship game.
No. So 24 and 23, I think, are 1-2.
Yeah, but I guess it's a fair question of which one goes first. I know 24
Because
you had the better overall record, but you went much further in 2023. There was a lot of resilience to that 2023 team with the injury stuff that they dealt with. I mean, they deal with them both every season, but I guess 2024 was actually more injury filled.
I actually think they had a better roster in 25 than 22, but they fell apart, so it's left a bad taste in our mouth. Whereas 22 ended on such a positive note.
Yeah.
And then we haven't even factored in this year, because I think this year's team could surprise everybody. Like I would debate putting this year's team, just projection wise, maybe right behind 24 and 23. I might say this is 3 based on, because I think with their schedule and what they can do and the experience and the guys it's one of those years where you look at the roster and you look at the coaching staff and you say, oh, these are the hiccups, these are the problems, these are the obstacles. So maybe it's not their year, maybe this is just their get right year. But then often those are the years that like surprise you, and that's the year that the team like rallies and goes on a long run.
And I think there is a certain amount of fatigue that you get with teams where you're just like, you take for granted some of the great things about these teams. Like, yes, do I think this team is as talented as they were last year? I don't actually. I think
overall?
I think the overall roster is a little bit worse. Not significantly worse, but I will also say, you put up this top 10, we're doing our rankings on the team, put up the Lions' top 10 players against anyone else's in the league, and I don't think anyone can match them. Like, I think the Lions have the best top-end talent in the league, and, we've seen the ESPN rankings come out, and the Lions have the most players that made that ranking. Like, that makes a difference. And if all of the Lions, blue-chip players can stay healthy and play at the level they're capable of playing, that carries a lot of weight. I know we always talk about how depth is important and how, when you get to December and January football, you have to rely on your depth, and all that is definitely true. But at the same time, who are the ones that make the plays in January that win championships? It's your top end talent, and I think the Lions still have a lot of that. So if we're just talking level of talent, I do think we're behind where we were in 2025, but I still think it's right up there with 2025, with 2024, with 2023. Like, the general level of talent is still very, very high. And if just the right things fall into place this year, there's no reason they can't accomplish more than what they've accomplished in those previous seasons.
I think the coaching staff is better this year than last year. And that's part of the question too, right? Like, that's part of Josh's, parameters here.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I do think this year's team and last year's team, there's some debate that can be had. And I think you put 22 against them as well. There's some debate to be had because 22's roster, I mean, that coaching staff really found its groove in the second half there. But I think I think we'll both agree 21 was the worst by far. 21's roster was a disaster. 80 million in dead cap. They couldn't do a whole lot with that roster, right? Because they cut so many guys to move on from those bad contracts. Yeah, I don't know. I feel pretty comfortable with 24 and 23 being at the top, and then I'd be willing to debate 22, 25, 26.
Yeah.
And where they finish. Yeah.
Do you agree? Well, I guess, do you agree that the roster is worse this year than last year?
I think that it looks worse right now because on paper you lost a lot of veterans that were consistent contributors.
Yeah.
And you've replaced them with youth that you don't know what they're going to be. So on paper, it does look like it's maybe not as good. At the same time, everybody has taken, you're hoping takes a step forward. Right. All the guys that you're able to return, all the youth from the last couple of draft classes can take a step forward. And so if those, it's like you said, if these things can kind of happen, then the 26 roster can be better than the 25. But when you're looking at it on paper, I certainly get that trepidation of saying that they're better because you lost so many veterans.
Right. I mean, it's easy to run down them. Like Alex Anzalone, where's your replacement there? Is it Malcolm? What level can Malcolm play at?
Right.
Terrion, like I know he wasn't playing at his best, but is Rock Ya-Sin capable of playing for a full season? What's going to happen with
It's not just Terrion, it's Terrion and Amik.
And Amik, right? Of course, Amik.
And both safeties. You know, like and you lost OT2 and OT3 off this roster. Yes. So like there's a Decker, lot of those
I understand people are excited about Blake Miller, but is Blake Miller 2026 version going to be better than 2025 Taylor Decker?
Yeah.
That's a lot to ask of a rookie.
Certainly.
And then obviously you got better potentially at center. But
hopefully you got better on the edge, right?
Hopefully you got better on the edge, but you know, you did get a 10-sack season out of Al-Qadim Muhammad.
Mm-hmm. You're still hoping you got better, though.
Right.
You're hoping you're getting a better production out of Aleem. You're hoping you're getting better production out of Levi, who are coming back off injuries.
But you lose the run defense of DJ Reader and Roy Lopez. Like, who are the guys that are going to step up and take those sacks? Is it Tyleek?
Pacheco is a downgrade from Montgomery, but you're hoping Tesla raises his game, right? Yep. And then the passing guys get better.
Yeah. So I don't know. You put all the arithmetic together. Like, I'm not saying this roster is way worse. Again, like, I think this roster is capable of doing anything that any of the previous 2, 3, 4 seasons have done. Certainly. I just think like a lot of things have to break the right way. And that's true of every NFL season for every team.
And that's the question. So those are the questions. Like, I feel like when we were going into 24, there weren't many questions with the roster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we knew what they were, we knew what they could do, and they did it. That was 1 year. You know what I mean? That was 1 year of like calm. And now we're back to normal, where it's like,
hopefully,
I don't know all these answers. It's just a different version.
Yes.
It's just it's a different wave. And so, on paper, this team looks like it looks questionable, but we'll see. We'll see in the end, like you said, they could be the best one.
Yeah. All right, we'll close things out there. Thank you for all the questions. Everyone who submitted questions either on our Pride of Detroit direct email or through Twitter. You can always do that every single week. I'm not sure what we're going to do next week since Wednesday is the start of Lions training camp. Maybe we'll try to fit one in right before. Maybe we'll do one a little bit after, maybe during their first break. But either way, appreciate the support. As always, you can catch us on YouTube if you want the video version, Twitch if you want the video version, or on any podcasting platforms. We appreciate all the reviews that you guys leave us. We're going to continue to read them on the PODcast. And I might as well pitch it here. If you're not a Pride of Detroit Direct subscriber yet, we will be doing daily training camp videos. Every single day of training camp practice, you will get a video that lasts anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour. Recapping that day of practice, press conferences, media sessions. You can get all of that with a Pride of Detroit Direct subscription. Like I said, I believe there are 20 total practices. So those 20, that's essentially getting access to 20 different podcasts by becoming a Pride of Detroit Direct subscriber. And you can do that by going to prideofdetroit.com/subscribe. You'll also get a ton of other stuff, including pre and post game podcasts. That's where First Bite lives. Our preview podcasts where we interview someone from the opposing team that covers the opposing team. Eric and I do post-game shows after the game. You'll get articles from Ty Schulter, one of the best football writers out there. I'll write some stuff there. I usually write a Monday morning article after games as well. So ton of extra Pride of Detroit content, Detroit Lions content over on PODD. So prideofdetroit.com/subscribe to become a subscriber. I think that's all I got. So until next time, that's Eric over there. I'm Jeremy. Thank you for listening. It's Chaos. Be kind.
Recording stopped.
All right.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. We'll hang out for a little bit here. What?
5-year-old doesn't recognize the podcast last,
You need the little like on air thing right behind you.
Oh
The little
no,
square.
yeah, I don't think it matters. I'm like, go away. And then when I muted and I like helped her, then she was mad at the way I helped her, and I was like, just you have a 12-year-old sister around here, and I thought your mother was home, but I don't know. Why are you? You don't need to be in here.
All right, let me get through some alerts, and then anyone that's still hanging around, we can answer some of your guys' questions. Can Canadians sign up for Pride of Detroit Direct? Absolutely, you can. The podcasts come in YouTube private link form, so you should be able to access that, no problem. I think we have subscribers all over the world. Every now and then we'll get an email and be like from way across the world, and it's always very humbling to see that. It's super cool. Arkvolt, thank you for following us on Twitch. Somebody save me. Thank you for the 6 months subscribed on Twitch. Says it's early in the day. Is that what you mean? It's lunchtime.
Wow.
We're well into the workday.
Unless, who knows where they live?
True. That's a good point. Dark Horse, thank you for the follow on Twitch. White Juice Box, thank you for the follow on Twitch. And Crash and Earn, thank you for the 20 months subscribed on Twitch as well. We're fully caught up. It is 10 a.m. in Colorado. Facts. That's not early. That's prime podcast listening time. It's weird being in the chat after listening to y'all on the podcast. Did you just listen to the PODcast Percule? Hope you enjoyed it. It's always kind of a fun series to rank the NFC North rosters. It's an opportunity to do a little bit of research on them, to put some certain things in perspective. And then the fact that we're also doing that while doing First Bite with a bunch of NFC North writers, it's interesting kind of like comparing our own notes to their notes. If we think their secondary sucks, but they're like, actually, you don't know about this guy. He's actually good. Gives you a little second perspective from maybe people that are closer to the situation, albeit maybe also a little bit biased, but we might also be a little bit biased. What are you looking at over there? What?
Rams idiots.
You're still reading that stuff?
They're so dumb. They don't understand anything, but whatever. This is the type of stuff that I wanted to just like, I so desperately want to just be like, you're an idiot. Please understand this basic concept. But I don't. I'm trying to be nice.
Listen,
trying to be nice.
Salary cap stuff is complicated.
But here's the deal. Here's the thing that irks me the most. I don't understand this. Expert Jason, can you explain this to me? Jason explains it. I think Jason's wrong.
Did he say that?
No, he didn't. Someone else did. Someone else was basically like quoting Jason.
Yeah.
And then,
listen, there's absolutely nothing wrong with going out and asking for more information. If you don't understand anything, by all means, ask people.
No,
and you shouldn't feel ashamed for asking.
That's not that.
The problem is that in this one instance that we're not even sharing with everybody, like,
no, it's not him. There's like a bunch of Rams.
But also, like, the original tweet was like, "Hey, I think this guy is wrong. Someone tell me I'm right." And that other person is like, "No, actually, you're wrong."
No, you're wrong.
No,
you're also
the
wrong.
one that's wrong.
And then
Anyways.
a bunch of his supporters are like, I don't think this guy who knows his stuff is right either.
I don't know. I don't think this guy who literally wrote the book on the salary cap is right about how the salary cap
the
works.
The deal is they don't want him to be right, so they're just saying, I think he's wrong.
Yes,
that's
a
what
bunch
it
of
is.
Rams fans do not want Aaron Donald to cost $30 million, but he does unless they adjust his contract and he agrees to.
If I could ask Rod Wood one question, what would it be? Why?
Just why?
Why? There's fill in
Why
the
about
blank.
anything in particular?
There's multiple things that you could fill in the blank on that on. Why?
Ooh, that's a good question, Grandpa. What would team president Mr. Schlitt's first move be?
Contract extension, Jahmyr Gibbs.
That's not your job.
Done.
That's not your job.
Move the team so that everyone can go watch practice. Now, new facilities, new practice facilities for
But sir, we just upgraded the facility.
Don't care. Meyer, you can support us or bounce. Someone else will want to support us. We're popular.
Yeah.
New practice facilities.
We're going to become
put them right.
the Kroger Performance Center.
Nope. We're going back to OU. We're going to OU like in the old days, like in the 70s or 80s or whatever it was. Practicing at OU. OU's got huge facilities, lots of stands available. They can house as many people. We'll put more stands in. Boom. How dare you, alien? No. How dare you? Nope. This is yeah. There you go. Fine. There's my new first step. Second move. Real Madrid Stadium. Get your grass, Sam Laporta. Yeah, Detroit, you figure that out quick. I want to walk to training camp. I don't want to drive to training camp. I want to walk to training camp. That's what I want.
Yeah, Detroit, thank you for the 83 months. Appreciate it, buddy.
We're gonna buy up the houses on my street.
To sell parking on your little parking.
We're gonna do college rules. Park on my lawn for $10.
Yeah. Have your daughters out there selling refreshments. Turn this into an opportunity. It is kind of a good question though. Like if you were team president, what would maybe this is a question of the day or a feed question. But if there's one thing you would change, like business wise, of the team, what would it be?
There you go, man. I'm making fans happy. That's my first step. Boom.
And I'm gonna run. I will run on like a very like school class president, like recess for 2 hours, $50 tickets, $50 Lions tickets.
I can't do that. Sorry, guys.
Why not?
Someone's got to pay for the new practice facility that everyone gets to watch every practice at for free.
So Eric is raising ticket prices to pay for the new facility.
20 training camp practices, all open to the public.
Oh boy, good luck running that one by Dan Campbell.
Yeah, too bad.
Stand up.
Too bad. I'm the president now. Listen, Dan, I promise I won't ever take back any of your salary, but just let me have this. You want to retire early? We'll still pay you. That's fine. I won't ever ask for it back.
Banning reselling tickets of more than face value. I don't think it's possible. Right? Like, is it physically possible to...
Oh, can I cut that? Can I cut scalpers out?
I don't think I mean, the Lions are kind of doing that the best they can by kicking people off season tickets if they resell their tickets too many times. I think that's all that you can realistically do, right? I don't think you can ban reselling. Otherwise, you're essentially putting a business... I don't know.
We'll find a way.
Legally, I think that's
We'll find a way.
Gray area. Find a way.
The Lions will maintain ownership of every ticket until it is physically in your hand.
Ooh, back to physical tickets.
Well, I mean, it
more
can
digital.
still go on your phone, but like
Nope.
it has to go like to your email. Maybe you only get the tickets on game day. Like you buy the season tickets, but you don't physically get the pass to go in until game day.
So you have to get in a line to get your ticket?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No.
dear Lord.
To your phone. You can get it to your phone, sent to your phone that game day morning. What a logistical nightmare that would be, and there would be huge problems. But
it doesn't
it's along
work, and
those
suddenly
lines.
no one has their ticket, and no one is in
The stadium is empty. No, well,
I honestly don't hate the idea if you can guarantee it works every single time.
well, I guarantee it. We'll work out the bugs. That's right. Boulder's got it. Boulder's got it right.
Sure.
I don't care about what's
think-
physically possible. I am who I am.
Mimsy has it. Since when has legality stopped anyone in power from doing anything?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric's
Well.
going to abuse his power.
Yeah, well,
Bend
for
the
the
laws.
fans, though. For the fans. That's the loophole.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck keeping your job when you're prioritizing fans over profits. Sheila will have you kicked
The
to the curb
profits will
so
still
quick.
come. The profits will still come, Sheila. Don't worry. Because when you make stuff more accessible, you draw in a larger fan base and you get that money in other avenues. Merchandise, you get food sales, concessions, you grow your fan base. And as your fan base grows, and everybody does, you don't have to have everyone paying that top dollar amount. They can pay less, but with a larger fan base, you're still bringing that income in. So I'm looking to help reduce costs for the average fan, but also growing the fan base by providing services for that fan base. Therefore,
But let's be honest.
we're still getting the same amount of money.
The only way you're going to grow the fan base is one way.
I just told you. Two
no,
ways.
No, that's winning football games. That's the only way.
Well,
You're not going to grow the fan base if, it's cheaper to go to games, but they're
All
1 in
right.
15.
Dan, you have incentives in your contract now.
I'm pretty sure he does already.
Larger than what you would traditionally get, because those like single game checks that you get for making the playoff, you get an extra game check. Nope, double it. Everybody gets doubled. We're like the 401k versus the NFL.
We'll match it.
The NFL's gonna do it. We're gonna match it. Boom. Boom.
Do you lower concession prices? Like, what is it, the Falcons? I think have like normal pricing. Or is that one of the ways you make up?
No.
Is that how you pay for your new?
No, I think it's obscene for like $18 beers and stuff like that. So
yeah, they do have the fan power hour before. If you get there early,
I'm gonna do power first half.
you're gonna have to beef up security. Pay a couple extra security guards now.
That's all right.
Everyone's a little more
Because
liquored up.
Everyone's gonna be so happy. Only alcohol only sold to happy drunks.
And you have to be wearing a Lions uniform.
True. I made that joke one time.
Prohibition for visiting fans.
It's not unfamiliar. Not unfamiliar here in Detroit. Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
You'll still make the same money, Sheila. I promise.
Listen, we
And
made
if
our
you-
pitch. I know some people within the Lions organization watch the show. If that job
go.
opening is still there, does he have your vote, chat? I know it's not it's not an elected position, but
Yep, I'm ready.
oh, I forgot about that. There is a seat license that a lot of places. I just heard about that last year. That some season ticket holders have to pay a license fee. A seat license? I still don't really understand what that is. But I don't believe the Lions have done that yet. I'm surprised your first act isn't like, hey, Frank, keep all your money.
I could do that.
It wasn't your first act, though. You can only have one first act, Derek.
Yeah. It doesn't mean I'm done. Frank, we love you. Come back.
Come
Here's
back.
$1 million.
You're going to try to get him to play.
At least be around. That would be a good start.
It's not going to happen.
Listen, Frank, if I give you $1 million, will you come out of the woods once or twice or 10 times a year? Can I get you off the lake?
He did. Listen, he came out. We had a talk.
Yeah. Well, that was for charity. I mean, that's what he does. Like,
Yeah.
he's a good guy. He's a good
Yeah.
human.
Add a parking deck over lot 4 and 5 to take money from the eligible family parking monopoly.
Great. I'm ready. I'm ready to buy multiple parking garages downtown Detroit.
Wow.
And
what kind of signing bonus are you getting with this hiring of being the Lions president? That you
Well,
can
look, the
buy multiple
parking
lots?
parking garages are going to make they're going to make their money.
Yeah, how
no
are you
matter
going to
what.
buy?
Right?
You still need to buy them, Eric. You're just going to take out a multi-million-dollar loan?
Yeah. They're the Ford.
Oh, you're the
company.
Lions team
Like,
president? Okay, well, here's all of the money.
Yes, that's pretty much how it will work. Listen. I don't know if you know me, but I'm the president of an NFL club, and so I would like access to money.
And how long have you held that position?
It doesn't matter. I have the backing. Look, Sheila's going to be signing her name on the dotted on those checks coming back to your bank. You don't want this bank? I can go to another bank. I don't care. I don't have any problem. Someone else is going to give it to me at what I want.
Wow.
Because
I'm
we have
kind of shocked
leverage.
you aren't already like a multi-billionaire with this kind of can't lose attitude.
It's true. I just need the opportunity.
You're
You're
Jace Billingsley. Just give him a chance. Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore is the NFL coach now.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely worked out for him.
Sure, but he would have been an all-pro quarterback if someone had just given him a chance. Just like Tim Tebow would have been a Pro Bowl tight end if someone had given him a chance.
Alien gave
Did you request one?
ChatGPT request.
Okay. All right. You're the new Lions team president. What is your first course of action? I probably should have said Detroit Lions. Okay. Okay, I said first, and you gave me 6. My first priority when we make these splashy things, it would be protecting what's working while identifying new areas that can change, blah, blah, blah. Here's the order of things I'd tackle. 1, meet with football leadership first. Oh, God, what a boring answer. I'd spend my first with Brad Holmes and Dan Kell. My first question would be, what's preventing you from winning the Super Bowl that I can remove? The president's job is to support football operations. Okay, that's dumb non-answer.
Invest in health and performance. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Good
Keep
job.
football decisions with football people. Holmes and Campbell have built one of the NFL's strongest cultures. Unless something is clearly broken, I won't micromanage roster or coaching decisions. That's in direct opposition to Eric, who immediately comes in and signs Jahmyr Gibbs to an extension.
That's what I would recommend. I would say, Mike, listen, Mike, come to my office.
That is not what you said. You said, I don't care. I don't care. It's not my job. I'm going and I'm giving him an extension. Here you go, Jahmyr Gibbs.
No, I would have that. That would be let's prioritize Jahmyr here. Can we do that?
Invest in health and performance. Marginal gains matter in the NFL. I'd look for opportunities in injury prevention, sports science and recovery, analytics, nutrition, and sleep.
They're already doing a
optimization.
lot of that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, yeah, I'd invest more in this. Okay, how?
money.
How? You just throw money at a situation? That's not how it works. What are you actually going to do that the Lions aren't doing? And I understand ChatGPT doesn't know what the Lions are doing. But
Go to number 4.
review contract planning. The Lions have a talented core that will become increasingly expensive. I'd ensure ownership is prepared to retain cornerstone players whenever it makes football self while maintaining long-term financial flexibility. Proven stadium experience, ticket prices, stadium technology, transportation.
There you
So
go.
this is just job description is what this is. This isn't.
I do
this
my
is
job. That's what I do. Priority 1. Do my
yeah.
job.
Ooh, this is controversial. Number 6. This is actually taking a stand. Set one organization goal. Everything would revolve around one objective. Build an organization that competes for championships every season, not just one. So no all-in moves.
In place?
Probably.
Yeah.
But
that aligns with my vision.
Right.
And
but
Brad
not
Holmes.
everybody's. But not everybody's. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people criticize
where the
this
fan
current
base would be.
regime
Sure.
saying, hey, just get me one.
Sure.
A president should think in terms of sustained excellence rather than one playoff run.
Yeah. That aligns with my vision.
Here we go. If I had one bold move, it would be to create an internal competitive advantage department that combines analytics, sports science, scouting technology, and sports psychology under one umbrella. The goal would be to find small advantages that add up over a 17-game season into the playoffs. I think you'd have to rebrand the name of that. Because when I think of competitive advantage, I think
sounds like illegal.
what I think of is Matt Patricia never telling the media anything, never doing it, like shroud of secrecy because of a competitive advantage. I'm not going to tell you. Aaron Glenn last year, I'm not going to tell you who the starting quarterback is for a competitive advantage. Like all like the ridiculous over the top stuff that people do that. Meh.
Sure.
I'd call it the Dagger Time Department. Here's all the things we can be doing in clutch situations because, in my opinion, the game is won in the last 5 minutes of every game.
You know what? You know what I would also do? I'd hire a clock management guy.
Yes. Is it me?
Sure.
Yes.
How much you want?
Like $2.5 million.
I was gonna say 6 figures, but still.
Yeah, listen, this is it
might be worth it. Yeah, listen, you gotta deal with the timeouts as well, like when right.
Isn't that the majority of what clock management is?
No, but I mean, like beyond, it needs to go beyond that. Like you
sure.
need to be.
This is what I'll do.
You need to be able to understand the statistics of improbability for like field goals
sure.
at certain distances, right? Like,
here's what I'll do. I'll go into your office.
Yep.
I'll play a game of Madden and show you how I use it in my timeouts.
All right. Sounds reasonable.
Great.
Can we sim to like the last like 5 minutes of the half?
Yeah.
That's really.
You don't want to see me like run a bunch of flea flickers?
I don't want to see you burn them early for no reason. No.
But what if like when my dog's barking and I gotta like pull him aside?
No, man. No, listen. You have to do this job from the booth. You can't be at home. There's a delay.
I just want a buzzer, like a timeout
buzzer. This is not a
work from home.
It's not a remote position.
Hybrid. We'll call it hybrid.
I mean, yeah, you can work from home.
I'll go to the home
week.
games. I'll buzz in for the away games.
No.
All right. We're going off the rails here. I think it's probably time to get out of here. Unless you guys have any more remaining questions. Here's a good one. What's y'all's favorite Lions memorabilia? I don't have a ton of great stuff. I'm not much of a collector in general. Gosh.
I have a lot of little like cool things that like maybe aren't like super expensive, but stuff that I like. You know what I mean?
Do you like signed stuff?
Just the, I don't know if you can see it. There's one little football back there signed by the greatest Lions running back to run a Texas route ever.
Is that, now I'm confused because it could be Jahmyr Gibbs, but I think it's John.
It's not Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh no, I think it's theoretic. I think it's theoretic.
It's theoretic.
It's theoretic.
But
that's a good question.
Like I bought a Panay card the other day.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't think it's worth that much, but I like it. I thought it was cool.
I'm looking around.
Ruby.
I don't even know where that is. Is that over there? So I have something signed by Glover Quinn that I actually won in like a contest, I think, on Twitter, which is pretty nice. I'll be honest, like the framed article I wrote in the magazine on Reggie Ragland that you guys gave to me is sitting up. It's like the only thing that's really sitting up in my office. It's right there. I think that's pretty cool. It's not. I don't know if you'd even call it Lions memorabilia because it's more just like a work accomplishment.
The in 2020, Our magazine,
Yeah.
like Our
Yeah,
Detroit magazine.
Yeah.
They run the best of, right? Right.
Yeah.
And in 20, and they've since thrown this category out. But in 2020, they had best sports columnist / blogger.
Right.
And since then, they've gotten rid of the blogger portion. But in 2020, it was best sports columnist / blogger. And I came in second on that.
That's pretty cool.
Right? And that one is right up there.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that one is out of the pan of vision, but yeah.
That's super cool. Let me
I
I'm gonna go.
lost to Mitch Album that year. But it was all sports. It was all sports. Because the other writer was a basketball writer that was in there.
Dang.
So yeah.
I'm gonna pull some of my stuff here.
Ruby, come in. Come in. Oh, so tired. I don't think I have anything else that's like super like rare or anything. Oh, you know what I do have? This was cool. I'll wait for Jeremy to come back. Because Jeremy should have one too. But a couple years ago during the Movember charity, the one I don't know the person's name. That's why I'm hoping Jeremy remembers it. But they made cards. Do you remember the name of the person who made the POD cards?
Wagon Maker. Eric Wagon Maker.
Okay.
Something like that.
What?
Yeah.
They made he had cards made up of all the POD podcast hosts. And then we gave them away, and they had like that's like Lions jersey in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were. They made one for giveaways, and then had us keep one as well. And I think I like that
That's
quite a bit.
Cool. I don't have a ton of memorabilia, but like Barry Sanders was my favorite player of all time, and so this is probably. It's not signed or anything, but it's this mural plus a card, or I guess 2 cards. And it says, Barry Sanders became only the 3rd player in NFL history to rush for 1,000 yards in each of his first 5 seasons, joining Eric Dickerson and Tony Dorsett. Sanders gained 1,115 yards despite missing the last 5 regular season games with an ankle injury. Healthy again, the former Heisman Trophy winner from Oklahoma State hopes to make his 6th consecutive Pro Bowl. Spoiler alert, he did. But this thing's pretty cool. I had to clean it off because it's been gathering dust. I don't know where my Glover Quinn thing is. I thought it was over on the desk over there, but it's not. I don't think I have anything else signed. I don't have any signed memorabilia. And it's kind of weird to get one now. Yeah. What about you guys? What are some memorabilia stuff that you have? Oh, that's cool. That looks new. You're muted. You're muted.
It's because I keep it like protected, and I've never worn it. It just, yeah.
That's pretty
It'll
cool.
be like the one of those that you like frame down the road.
Yeah.
Yep. Old
Nice.
school Barry Sanders.
No doubt. Yeah, that's about it. It's a bit signed Barry jersey is pretty awesome. Do I have cards? I don't know. You don't have to send us anything if you don't want to. But if you ever do want to send us something for whatever reason, and I would never ask for anything. ! P.O. Box. Who's that?
From Nick the Greek.
Oh. Oh, right.
Hey, Nick.
Good call.
Nick the Greek, man.
I don't even know where that is of mine.
How dare you?
What is? I don't even remember
man.
what. Honestly, I don't remember what mine says in the back. Oh, it says wet blanket. That's right. I got the wet blanket.
I need to put that up somewhere. I need to get that
Yeah, you do.
somewhere fun.
Put it on the walls where people can see it.
Put it right there for now.
Yeah.
Good old Nick.
Shout out Nick the Greek. All right. It's lunchtime. No one sent me a Vikings jersey. Ooh, Eric. Considering head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator, all three of those, rank the NFC North coaches.
You said head coach and then the coordinators?
Yes.
Head coach Dan
not
Campbell.
considering special teams. Just no, rank the teams in terms of your coaching staff.
Well, hold on. I got to think about that for a second. Because
Do you want
for
me to
head
list
coach-
out what they are for each team?
no. I mean, I'm going to go through and I know what I got the heads coaches, no problem.
Yeah, good luck on some of the offensive coordinators. Considering the other three head coaches are essentially the offensive coordinators.
I mean, you have a new DC in Green Bay too, so
Yep.
that like complicates things.
Gannon.
God, I keep coughing. Excuse me.
We did this on Monday's POD cast, and
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't that much controversy, but I think some Lions fans were probably not particularly happy with our results. Not to spoil.
Did Green Bay still has their same?
Gannon's their new DC.
No, but for offense, like
Yeah,
it's hard
Adam
because it's
Stenavich.
really, I know, but it's really LaFleur.
Yeah, of
Right?
course. Yeah, no
Just
doubt.
like in Chicago, it's really Ben.
Yeah. Same in Minnesota, right? Kevin O'Connell versus Wes Phillips. Who's running that offense?
That's where it gets hard,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
Because would you rather have like one head coach who does two jobs and then a good DC, or would you rather have three coaches?
Sure. So that's actually, we didn't really get into that part of the equation too much. Hi, Ryan. Thanks for hanging out in the chat, buddy.
What? I don't know.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Is there a clear number 4 to you?
Well, probably Minnesota, even though they have the number one DC.
Okay.
I am not. I think O'Connell, the shine has wore off.
We talked a little bit about that, yeah, because of what
I think
happened at the quarterback
he
position
is
last year.
I think of the head coaches, he is 4.
Okay, but as a coaching
And
staff,
but by
okay,
the fact, like, because he's, I think, the worst head coach, at best he's the 3rd offensive coordinator, and then you have the number 1 defensive coordinator. So that, to me, you have 2 bottom. Like, the shine has wore off him.
that's okay. I thought you were going to have a much different answer. Also Minnesota's my number 1, but that's fine.
Was your number 1?
They were.
What?
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Kevin O'Connell, and
the shine has wore off.
I don't just think Flores is the best coordinator in the division. I think he might be the best coordinator in football.
Yeah, that's the thing, is he's the best D coordinator by a lot.
Yeah.
Like, yes. I think there's a huge gap between him and the other 3.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
And so that's, but I think I have no faith in O'Connell right now.
Okay.
Like,
plus I thought that was going to be a layup for you to say the Packers. I'm going to be honest. I thought you were going to jump right on putting the Packers out there.
Because I actually think LaFleur is a good offensive coordinator.
I think he's yeah.
I think he might be.
I think he's
the
a bad
second
coach,
best. Though. I think between him and Ben, it's, as a head coach, is debatable. But Ben's only got 1 year. LaFleur's been doing it for several, so I might give the edge to LaFleur there. I think Ben's a better OC, so he's going to be probably he's going to be better than LaFleur as an OC. And again, applying the same logic with Petzing is hold on. The kids can't handle themselves.
That's okay. I'm enjoying this as much as Ryan is enjoying this in the chat, because it's shocking to me. Like, I thought Eric hated LaFleur.
Oh, I do. I think he's a coward.
That's what I'm saying, though. Yes, I agree. Brilliant offensive mind, but I think he makes terrible decisions late in the game. I think his leadership style sucks.
He did so much better last year. That's the thing, is like,
he did improve.
Last year he was less cowardice, and I think that's one of the reasons why they got to the playoffs, was because he wasn't a complete chicken shit the whole time.
Yeah,
but every year prior,
they lost to the Bears in the playoffs.
Yeah, well.
Ryan wants me to tell you, and if I'm remembering this correctly, he had the Chicago Bears as number 1.
The Bears have, as far as calling offense, the Bears are number 1. And calling defense, the Vikings are number 1.
Yeah.
And head coach, Detroit is number 1. So Green Bay isn't in number 1 in anything.
So they should be last.
But they're
agree.
But they're probably second.
What do you think of Gannon?
I don't know.
Okay.
Like, he was great in Philly, but like, how much is that?
Having an amazing defensive line that he doesn't have any of in Green Bay.
Right. And didn't have in Arizona, which is why Arizona,
yeah.
So, like, I don't know.
Get the oil. The machine is breaking.
I think Detroit might be. You're going to see Detroit in the top at 1, 2, or 3. Detroit's never going to be isn't at the bottom of any of these.
Any of what?
In any of these rankings, Detroit doesn't have the worst coordinator or the worst head coach. Like, Detroit's not at the bottom.
You don't think they have the worst offensive coordinator?
No.
Well, I guess I'm including, if Ben Johnson is considered the offensive coordinator, if Kevin O'Connell is considered the offensive coordinator, who's
O'Connell worst?
Okay.
Look, you can take all of the praise for Sam Darnold that he earned and just throw it in the bin.
He fixed him, and now the Seahawks are benefiting from it.
First of all, he's not fixed. Okay. He still has a lot of the same problems he had before.
Okay. You are everything that Jared Goff fans hate about what people say about Jared Goff. What does he have to do, Eric? He won a Super Bowl.
No, his team won a Super Bowl. He was the captain of it. That's like saying Trent Dilfer was the best quarterback in his year.
I didn't
the year
say
Baltimore won the Super Bowl.
I didn't say he was the best quarterback.
Okay, but Minnesota's offense, I just don't have any faith in it right now.
It's going to be a very telling year. Very telling year.
Like, I have them. I just don't have the DCs ranked between Green Bay. I think Detroit over Green Bay. All right. So I have Detroit as number 1 head coach, number 3 offensive coordinator, number 2 DC.
Okay.
I have Chicago as 3rd head coach, 1st offense, last defensive coordinator.
Wow, Dennis Allen. Shots
Sorry.
fired.
I mean, it's either him or what's his name in Green Bay that I forgot his name already about.
What?
I said it's either Dennis Allen or
Gannon. Why is Shepard above 2 like long-term defensive minds in this league that have been around for so long?
Sorry. I think he's better. I've seen him. I saw him do more with less.
Okay.
I think Chicago, Dennis Allen's it's not sustainable what he's doing in Chicago, and I don't know what Gannon's going to do. I don't know if he can do anything, to be honest.
Dennis Allen was
Maybe
a coordinator
he can
for 6 years in New Orleans.
Yeah. Awesome. He was also their head coach, and then got fired because of it. And so, all right, I'm assigning. So 4, 2, 3.
You're gonna have the Lions number 1, you big old homer.
Three.
The only, I was gonna say the only.
Oh well, I did.
Yeah, of course he did. Go ahead.
I have Detroit, Green Bay, Chicago, Minnesota. That was the order of the coaching staffs.
That list could.
And honestly, Green Bay and Chicago could be flipped depending on how because now I'm starting to reconsider the DC. But
Gannon?
Yeah. Is Gannon better than Dennis Allen? Gannon's history is better than Dennis Allen's.
Okay. So we're going to history, huh? And Calvin Shepard gets to be DC2 in the division.
Yeah.
Based on one season. In which
awesome.
They weren't even that good. They weren't good.
You could, like I said, it's Minnesota, and then it's like
right, which is why they're number 1 because Kevin O'Connell isn't that far behind everyone on offense.
He is as a head coach.
Why don't you like him as a head coach?
What has he done? What has he done?
Won the division once.
What?
Didn't he?
I don't know. I'm looking it up now. He has been with them since 22.
Yeah,
so
his very first year, they won the division at 13-4. They've had a 13 and a 14 win season under him.
And they did the exact same thing that Chicago did, which was rack up a whole bunch of unwinnable games. Like they won all those 11 one-win games and a whole bunch of turnovers that wasn't repeatable, and they've been in the basement.
The first time that's true. That wasn't true the second time when they took the Lions to the final game of the season.
Well, couldn't maintain it. Look, I'm not giving O'Connell props just because he came from the McVay Shanahan
had
tree.
3 winning seasons out of 4 years without a quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Thanks to his DC.
No, thanks to his crappy GM who they just fired.
No, but I'm saying the DC is the reason that they had winning seasons. It's not the offense. It's not their game management. He's fine.
You're talking about the 2024 AP Coach of the Year. I just did that to see what your face would look like. Ryan, get in here. I'll give you the Zoom link. Ryan's ready for a fight. I like this. He had a Super Bowl winning quarterback and did nothing.
Exactly.
Oh, exactly. Oh, okay. So now
Can he win that season?
Now we think he's a good quarterback, huh?
No, he's not. He's technically a Super Bowl winning one, though.
Interesting. I'm glad I asked you this question.
I think I might switch to Chicago and Green Bay. I just don't like Chicago that much, but I think Chicago and Green Bay are close.
I have several questions about Chicago's defense. If Dennis Allen can make that defense still look good, then I'll have a little bit more faith in that coaching staff. But I don't believe.
Minnesota should not be number one. What's wrong with you? What? Come on.
What?
Come on.
What?
I get Flores is really good.
I really don't get the Kevin O'Connell hate.
What has he done? What has that offense done in 4 years?
They've been an awesome offense at times. At times in which they've had a quarterback worth a damn. Even a mediocre quarterback, they've been good.
I'm going to. Are the Minnesota Vikings wasting Justin Jefferson's career?
God, I hate that story. I hate when people invoke that so much. Only because, obviously the Lions have been on the wrong end of that conversation several times.
Yeah.
Ryan, thank you for the 52 months. Subscribed to us on Twitch. NFC North future Hall of Famers who are being wasted. All of them. Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
Are the Green Bay Packers wasting the guy who's not going to play this year because of his knee or whatever?
Mike Parsons?
Yeah, him. Whatever his name is.
What is happening, Downgrade? Are you okay?
They're not going to fire. I think he means LaFleur.
But he also said, what did it take for Green Bay to fire McVay?
Well, that's basically LaFleur. I think he's getting around what he needs to make that a good statement. I know he means Flores, or he means LaFleur. I got it. I thought they might have gotten to that point soon.
Downgrade. Do I need to call 911 for you, Downgrade? Are you okay?
Where's Ryan?
I don't know.
He was joining.
He said, I'm waiting in the Slack chat. And then I sent him a Zoom link, and lo and behold.
Oh, man. Excuse me.
What in the hell? He's too busy sending us teeth marks from Puka Nakua.
Yeah. There he
Oh.
is.
Oh.
Shall receive.
You're
All
going to
right,
be
buddy.
your flip for now. Oh, yeah, I can actually move in Zoom.
I just want this to be like that bit that Jimmy Kimmel used to run, where like Matt Damon would show up and then now Jeremy was like, all right, we're all out of time. So
What the hell is with that puka thing? Jesus.
That's
He's
a
a
old
fighter.
story, isn't it?
Well, how do you get a perfect circle like that, though?
very
Practice.
carefully.
All right. What do you got to yell at Eric?
Yeah.
I'm not yelling at Eric. I'm just surprised. I didn't know that he was a closeted Packers fan.
No, I just hate Chicago and I think Minnesota's garbage.
I'm curious as
When
what
Green Bay
Minnesota's-
becomes relevant again, I'll start hating them again.
It's going to be a really interesting season for the Vikings because I see the takes like from a range of like, yeah, that team is clearly fourth in the division to, now that they got Kyler Murray, they could sneakily win the division. They're the best bet to make based on the odds.
No.
I
think-
hate that so much.
I think we made it pretty clear with our NFC North positional rankings that Minnesota's a clear fourth in terms of roster talent.
And I think that's what's continuously so impressive about Flores, right? Like,
Sure.
I think we had their defense ranked pretty low in a lot of different categories.
Yeah, no doubt.
And they're continuously a top
They're-
10 defense.
And they lost a ton of guys in free agency last year. They lost two really important guys this year, right? In Harrison Smith and the edge that I can't think of his name right now.
Bernard.
Grenard, yeah.
Jonathan Grenard. And yet, I'm still confident they're going to have a top 5 defense.
Oh, God.
For one reason, right?
Yeah.
Flores.
Yeah.
So one of Eric's comments about Kevin O'Connell had me curious. Do you know the highest that Minnesota has ever placed in DVOA on offense?
I'm afraid to hear the answer now.
They have never ranked higher than 15th.
What?
there you go.
Really?
Yep.
Not even last. I thought in 2024 it would be pretty darn good.
Is Kevin O'Connell a Brian Flores merchant?
Is he a fraud?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Do you
Tattoo it
have
on my
DVOA
forehead.
logins? Because I don't even have DVOA logins right now.
Didn't you just get the almanac? Don't you get that
No,
with?
I got it sent to me.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're gonna have to send me the login.
The SB Nation one still works for me.
I don't. Is that in the shared account?
I think it's in the shared stuff.
I should probably just do that then. What did they rank in 2024?
They ranked 15th. That was the highest they ever ranked.
What was the offense in
Their
or the-
2014 was the best offense they've had. Ooh.
Yeah.
What was the-
scary.
Shut up.
2022, they ranked 20th.
Oh man,
Overrated.
their passing was terrible that year.
He's
They were 28th in pass. What?
yeah, dude. It's all it's he comes from
All
the
smoke and
tree,
mirrors.
so he must be good because he's from the McVay Shanahan tree.
For the record, Eric, when we had our conversation, I definitely was like, I have questions about KOC, and like I am not impressed with some of his decision making when it comes to certain situations.
Yeah.
But I just think that Flores is by far and away the best defensive coordinator in all of football.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like that
Yeah.
buoyed them, but I definitely had the Packers fourth.
If Flores was their head coach and O'Connell was just their offensive coordinator, I think I'd be more scared of him. But it's not the
Yeah.
way it is.
The way that
I'm
you
so
feel about Kevin
confused.
O'Connell is how I feel about LaFleur.
Oh, LaFleur, last year changed my outlook on him a little bit because I thought he was a lot more aggressive last year. But the year prior, yeah, he would have been below Ben without a doubt. But last year, I saw enough out of him that I was like, all right, now I can't keep calling him a baby, and
Yeah.
like
Until it backfired against Chicago.
well, it always backfires with LaFleur. That's the thing. Like it was it's against Detroit, which is basically Ben, or against San Fran, he inevitably finds a way to lose. But other than that, those kryptonite teams that are out there, the San Fran tree or the Detroit tree, like he's was more aggressive last year and won them some games that they probably should have lost. So I don't know. I'm giving him if Ben after this season, I bet I have Ben higher than him. If Ben keeps doing his
Yeah.
thing.
I have been higher than anybody in the division. So
As OC or as head coach.
well, it's just so weird because he's like the de facto. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Well, that's the
it's
thing
like-
is I think he's the best offensive mind. So therefore Chicago has the best offensive mind controlling their offense. So
Right,
they're
so-
number one because Ben's the smartest.
But like in terms of being the head coach and like decision making, yeah, I think that there's
Him and
plenty of things that pointed to last year, like Ben in the HC role was like, oh, he's being a little bit too aggro.
He got 52 dropped on him in week 2 by Detroit. You know what I mean? Like it was a
John
learning
Morton
curve.
offense.
Right. It was it was a learning curve for him last year. And he got it better at the end, but he's still like a young guy. You know what I mean?
But even kind of his undoing at the end too, like some of the aggressive decision making that he made in that.
Yeah, but I like aggressive. I like being aggressive. So
Yeah.
I default to that.
But so as far as like head coaches in terms of like decision making and things, I had Dan. I'm trying to think of who I had in second. I think I just went Dan, Ben, KOC, LaFleur as far as like head coaches decision making, and then offense. I said that LaFleur was fourth, and I had Petzing ahead of him.
That's in head KOC.
Well, I now looking at these DVOA numbers, I need to revisit my.
Yeah.
I still don't.
Jeremy's so deep in the numbers right now. He's
Well,
like, "What? My life is a lie."
I looked at something wrong because they were 15th in 2024, but I swear I saw that they were 28th in pass offense, but that's not true. They were 12th and 20th in run offense. But I expected them to be even higher in pass offense because it was like a career year from Sam Darnold.
He's not that good.
My
He's
speculation.
not that good of a quarterback. Just saying.
Stop it.
He's not good.
My speculation is that it has more to do with the 48 sacks that he took that year.
Yeah, because their offensive line isn't good either.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So it has nothing to do with KOC. Got it.
Sure. Definitely couldn't coach that up. Definitely. That's not his job. Not his job to coach up the offense. Not his job at all.
The offensive line?
Dude, he oversees the whole. Okay.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, well, I don't know. We can't throw stones in a glass house. I know that offensive line in Detroit last year.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Hank Fraley.
Dan's part of it. Hank Fraley, part of it.
Well, ultimately, it's Rod Wood's fault that the offensive line
Everything
wasn't
is Rod Wood's fault.
in good shape.
If he wouldn't have done that, taken that money from Frank, I bet Decker would have practiced more. I bet Graham wouldn't have just wouldn't have just washed his hands of it. Yeah. I bet he would have played in Minnesota in week 16 or 17 or whatever that was.
It
all stems from Rod.
walk-in week, yes. Minnesota's point differential in 2022 because they went
It was
13
like barely positive, right?
No, it was negative.
Oh,
it was
negative.
negative. Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah. Like, they won the division. Yeah, they scored like 40 points less than everybody else against them. And that's with Flores as their DC. That's how
Listen.
bad their offense was.
Excuse me. 8th highest scoring offense, 5th worst defense. Brian Flores,
Yes.
fraud.
All right. Stock down for Flores.
I make the numbers say what I want them to say. My favorite point differential from 2022, though, is the Chicago Bears. Negative 137.
It's the same thing. I'm telling you. The 25 Bears are the 22 Vikings.
No, that was 2022. I wish they were a negative 137. That would explain, though, because they had the 52 hung on them by Detroit.
Yeah.
I think they did finish with a bad point differential. They were.
It was close, wasn't it?
Plus
26.
26.
Yeah. All right. 26. What were the Lions?
68. They
Weren't they
finished last in the division
Right.
because of the one game against the Bears.
Didn't they blow out the Bengals too? I know the Bengals came close to.
Well, the Bengals came back in that game, remember?
Right, but they still ended up beating by 2 touchdowns, didn't they?
They beat
the
the
Browns.
Commanders pretty bad
They
too.
beat the Browns by 24. They beat the Bengals by 13. They beat the Commanders by 22.
Yeah.
Even the Cowboys by 14.
I love that stat. The NFC North was the only division in football last year. All the teams had plus point differentials.
All right.
It's because there's 4 offensive gurus in the division.
Poking the bear, poking the bear.
All right. I think we're going to get out of here.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, thanks for coming to us in your home, I presume.
Yeah, this would be awesome decor for the school.
Spotify Live.
It would be ridiculous if you drove to your school.
Just threw everything in and I'll give them a piece of my mind about
LaFleur.
Listen, of all the people coming to defend Kevin O'Connell, or I guess it was more just to shit on the floor than anything else.
Yeah.
He definitely didn't defend O'Connell. He made things worse.
It's true.
Well, because when you said that, I started looking at numbers and I was like, oh no, he kind of has a point. So I was like, hold on, let me reroute. I'm still getting on this phone call though, because I know nobody hates the Packers more than Eric Schlitt, but he's saying nice things about Matt LaFleur. What's going on?
Again, it's only
Show us
last
the rest of your room, Eric.
last year. What's
Show us
that?
the rest of your room. Who's holding a gun at you right now?
That's it. That's my whole room.
That's it.
Definitely no one over to the other side.
Not the sniper outside the window.
What's that red dot?
Green dot?
Minnesota 11th in success rate in 2024 on offense. End of stream. Cool. 11th. That's
Cool.
elite.
Okay. If that's what you want to justify it.
Yep.
All right. Well, have fun rethinking your life choices about Kevin O'Connell. All right.
Jeffrey's gonna go walk the dog.
I could have sworn it was at least 8th in DVOA.
Maybe Aaron Jones is washed.
Oh, careful. Eric likes him.
I know.
Dude, but he's also 30. I thought 31. Man.
Yeah.
Which is like 40 in running back years. So.
True. All right, we're getting out of here. Thanks everyone, if there's anyone still watching at this point, for hanging around. Monday-ish will be POD Training Camp preview, and then not sure when the next midweek mailbag will be, since next Wednesday is the first day of training camp. So keep an eye out. Follow us on all the social medias. Email me if you really want to know and don't follow us on social media when the next thing is. I might answer. Who knows? But appreciate
promises.
Exactly. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks to Eric and Ryan for hanging out for a little bit. And we'll see you guys soon. Oh, yeah, there is a first bite. We're recording it tonight. Is that tonight? Tonight. Arif Hassan, first bite should be in your... What's that?
We should probably get working on the outline.
Yes. So that should be in your inboxes tomorrow. Cool. All right. We'll see you guys soon.